Beneath the infinite night sky, you lie in quiet wonder. Above you stretches a tapestry of darkness and light, countless stars scattered like diamonds on black velvet. The air is still and cool around you. Each breath you take is slow and calm. The world seems to hold its breath with you, as if in reverence of the vast cosmos overhead. In this moment, the boundary between you and the universe feels thin and porous. You sense that you are part of something much greater, something eternal and boundless. High above, ancient starlight journeys through the ages to reach your eyes. Some of those twinkling lights began their voyage long before you were born, before cities rose, or even before humans kindled the first campfires. Yet here and now, that ageless light finds you lying quietly under the sky. You feel a profound connection across time and space. The stars above are not just distant suns. They are messengers from the past, whispering tales of eternity. The Milky Way arches overhead, a river of faint glow spilled across the night. Its hazy band hints at secrets obscured by distance, as though inviting you to peer further into the unknown. Scattered along that misty trail are uncountable stars, each a distant sun with its own story. As you gaze upward, you can almost imagine the silent music of the cosmos, the harmonies of spheres turning in the dark. In the stillness, your mind drifts among the stars. You trace the constellations, those patterns our ancestors once drew, to make the sky feel more familiar. There is Orion, the proud hunter, eternally chasing his prey across the heavens, and the Great Bear, lumbering slowly around the North Star. These shapes are comforting in their familiarity. Yet beyond the lines we draw between stars lies the true unknown. Countless points of light, without names or legends, waiting for curious eyes and dreaming hearts to give them meaning. A gentle streak of light catches your eye, a meteor silently burning as it skims the atmosphere. It flares for just a heartbeat, then is gone, leaving a memory of brightness. You smile, recalling the old habit of making a wish upon a shooting star. What would you wish for on a night like this? Perhaps the ancient wish shared by so many gazers before you, to know the stars more closely, to travel among them, to uncover their mysteries. This tiny visitor from the darkness feels like a promise that the night holds surprises for those who seek them. Under this dome of stars, time itself feels different. Moments stretch out, unhurried. You think of how many others, across thousands of years, have paused on nights like this to look up in wonder. Cave dwellers wrapped in furs, philosophers under desert skies, children peeking out of bedroom windows, countless eyes, all united for a moment by the sight of these same stars. The night sky has always been our companion, a source of wonder and guidance. The stars look down on all their hopes and worries, just as they look down on you now. The darkness above is deep and infinite, but it is not empty. It teems with light and possibility. Each star up there might hold worlds of its own. Perhaps around one of those distant suns, a planet circles with oceans and forests, and maybe even living beings looking up at their sky. You can't know for sure, but the thought is comforting, that in this vast night, you might not be alone in your wonder. In the great tapestry of the cosmos, there could be other eyes also gazing upward, other hearts pondering the mystery, each beneath their own infinite night. There is something deeply peaceful about the starlight. It travels unimaginable distances to softly touch your face, crossing the void without a sound. Starlight doesn't glare or blind. It gently illuminates, like the glow of a distant candle in a dark room. As you bathe in that faint light, you feel safe to dream. The vastness that surrounds you isn't threatening. It's like a dark ocean cradling you, offering infinite space for your thoughts to sail. You reflect on how small you are in this immense expanse, a single person on a tiny planet, circling one star among billions. And yet, small as you are connected to it all. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your lungs, all were forged in the hearts of stars billions of years ago. Long ago, those stars exploded, scattering their enriched dust through space. And from that dust, eventually, came you. When you look up at the stars, you are, in a sense, looking at your origin. You are a way for the universe to gaze back at itself. This realization brings a warm sense of belonging. The universe out there is not a cold stranger. It is family. Every point of light above is a distant relative of the atoms within you. The space between those stars is not just emptiness, but the connective fabric that links everything together. Lying here, you feel a gentle assurance that you have a place in this vast design. You are a child of the cosmos, resting under the loving canopy of the sky. A slight breeze stirs the air, rustling through nearby trees or grasses. It carries the earthy scent of your immediate world, a reminder that you are still on Earth, grounded even as your mind soars. In the distance, a night bird calls softly, or a cricket chirps, adding a note to the night's hush. Life continues its quiet chorus here on this little world, even as the silent stars wheel overhead. In that contrast, the intimate sounds of Earth and the majestic silence of space, there is harmony. One makes the other more precious. Without the life here, the stars would have no one to watch them. Without the stars above, life here would have no light to grow or dreams to strive for. Your thoughts wander further, rising like a balloon into the sky. What is it truly like out there, beyond the air, beyond the reach of our familiar blue atmosphere? How far do those stars go? Does the night ever end, or does it go on forever? These questions echo in your mind, as they have in the minds of countless dreamers before you. In times past, people imagined gods or spirits dwelling among the stars. They made up stories to explain the patterns they saw. A great huntress, a mighty hero, a grieving goddess. Over time, we learned the stars are mighty suns, and that knowledge only made the night more wondrous. The more we found out, the more vast and strange and beautiful the universe grew. Each star you see is a reminder that the unknown far exceeds the known. Each point of light beckons with a question mark. Perhaps one of them has a world with lakes and clouds, much like ours. Perhaps another shines on a barren rock, or a gas giant striped with storms. And perhaps, around a golden star, not unlike our sun, there is a thriving garden world where creatures gaze up and wonder just as we do. The mystery of it all is gentle and profound. Not knowing has its own allure, because it means there is so much left to discover. Another shooting star streaks across the darkness, and instinctively you make a second wish. This time, maybe it's for the chance to reach those distant lights, to not just gaze, but to go. Humans have always felt that yearning. We've watched birds and wished to join them, watched the moon and longed to visit it, watched the stars and dreamed of the day we might travel among them. For the longest time, these were just dreams. But within the last few generations, everything began to change. You think of the tools we've crafted to extend our reach. Once, we built telescopes, those glass eyes that brought the stars closer in our view and revealed hidden wonders. Moons around Jupiter, rings of Saturn, galaxies beyond our own. Each discovery kindled our desire more. And then, we built rockets, fragile, roaring chariots of fire that breached the sky and carried our kind into the space above our world. We learned how to send brave souls orbiting Earth, and eventually, across the 250,000 miles to our moon. For the first time, we left footprints on another world. Those prints in the lunar dust were a message to the universe. We are on our way. Imagine the feeling of the first humans who left Earth's atmosphere. To watch the sky turn from blue to black, to see the curve of the Earth below, glowing with the light of day on one side and the darkness of night on the other. To float in the quiet, looking down at the planet that had always held you. They must have felt both exhilaration and a deep, quiet awe. Up there, they became like a star themselves for a moment, an observer in the cosmic ocean, looking back at the island of their birth. Yet the moon, as far as it is, was just our first toe in the water. The stars remain unimaginably farther. Even the nearest star beyond our sun is trillions of miles away. Such distances once felt completely insurmountable, and for now, they still are, at least with the technology we have today. But the first step is always the hardest. We have taken it. We have left our cradle. And as you lie here, you have the sense that humanity's journey to the stars is truly beginning to unfold. The night seems to whisper to you, encouraging. Perhaps it's the rustle of leaves, or the sigh of the breeze, but it feels like a gentle voice saying, "We will find a way." We belong among these stars. All the wonder and longing you feel is not in vain. It is a call to action, maybe not for tonight, but for the days and years to come. We are meant to explore, to venture out beyond the comforts of home, and discover what lies outside. Your eyes close for a moment, and in your mind's eye, you picture what that journey might be like. You envision a ship, unlike any you've seen on the sea or in the air, sleek and silent, rising from the earth towards the heavens. It carries no sails, or perhaps it has sails made of light itself. Its engines ignite with a gentle fury, lifting it beyond the clouds. You imagine yourself aboard, looking back one last time at the blue world shrinking below, then turning forward to the glittering starfield ahead. We have always been explorers. Long ago, we crossed raging seas on fragile boats, guided by the stars and our insatiable curiosity. Now the stars themselves are destinations, and we stand at the shore of the cosmic ocean, ready to push off. Under the infinite night sky tonight, you feel that readiness growing, the quiet confidence that we will go, that we will learn, that we will become citizens of the cosmos. So as you lie here, you also stand on the threshold of that vast journey. All it takes is answering the age-old call that the stars have always sung to us. The universe is waiting, and we, at last, are almost ready to set sail. Beyond the safe glow of our home, into that vast and starlit expanse, our adventure beckons. Above the earth, a new dawn is rising, not of the sun, but of our journey. Engines rumble softly beneath us as our vessel ascends, carrying the hopes and dreams that were born under the night sky. Through a window, we watch our blue planet slowly shrink. City lights glimmer along the fading curve of the Earth until they too are lost in the brightness of day on one side and night's shadow on the other. Soon, the familiar sight of home falls away entirely, and all that surrounds us is the endless expanse of space. We have slipped free of Earth's cradle and entered weightlessness, where up and down lose their meaning and the stars no longer twinkle. They shine steady and clear. The launch was intense, a controlled fury of fire and thunder to escape gravity. But now, in orbit and beyond, there is peace. Our engines, having done the heavy lifting, quiet to a gentle hum. The feeling is like gliding, as if we are a leaf carried on a still, dark pond. We float, secured in our ship, and feel an immense calm. In the silence of space, only the soft whir of systems and our own breaths remind us that we are moving at all. Outside, Earth is a glowing blue sphere, adorned with white swirls of cloud. We marvel at how delicate it looks, a small gem suspended in blackness. With each passing minute, it recedes further, until it's just a lovely memory of colour and light. A tender pang of longing hits us. We are leaving everyone and everything we know behind on that tiny world. But we carry them in our hearts. We whisper silent farewells and promises to return, even if only our voices or stories make the journey back. We set our trajectory outward, away from the sun. Soon the moon comes into view, a silent grey companion pocked with craters. We pass it in a matter of hours. Its ancient surface reflects the sunlight as a stark, peaceful glow. Once, reaching the moon was humanity's greatest adventure. Now it is a milestone behind us, a stepping stone on our path. We watch it drift away, and the emptiness beyond it beckons. As we travel farther, the sun's light begins to dim ever so slightly, and the darkness of space grows deeper. We pass the orbit of Mars, glimpsing the red planet as a tiny rust-hued star. We know it is there, a desert world of canyons and dusty plains. But from here, it's just a point of light, giving us a respectful nod as we journey by. In the months that follow, the giants of our solar system greet us in turn. Jupiter's immense presence announces itself long before we arrive. Its gravity nudges our ship, pulling at our course. When we finally draw near, Jupiter is a magnificent striped sphere filling our view, its bands of clouds swirling in an eternal dance. A great red storm peers back like an ancient eye. 4 bright moons circle it, tiny systems of their own. We skim past, letting Jupiter's gravity slingshot us onward, as if the giant planet gives us a parting gift of speed. Saturn appears next, elegant and serene, encircled by its ethereal rings. We slow just enough to take in its splendor. The rings shine like a cosmic rainbow, billions of icy pieces catching the sunlight in unison. Against the dark backdrop, Saturn looks like a jeweled lantern, casting a gentle light. We feel a sense of gratitude to witness this up close. In silence, we drift above the plane of the rings, watching shadows play on the cloud tops of that golden world. Then, with a quiet farewell, we continue on. Beyond Saturn, the sunlight wanes further. Uranus and Neptune, distant ice giants, glow a faint bluish green as we pass. Their disks are small and mysterious, surrounded by whispers of rings and moons. We are visitors, hurrying through their remote neighborhood, mindful that we carry the curiosity of billions who have never seen these places directly. We soak in the sight of Neptune's deep blue haze and the last traces of our sun's warmth. Finally, we reach the outer rim of our solar system, the realm of icy wanderers. Pluto and its kin are tiny and dark, but our instruments pick up Pluto's glint, a fragile sunlight reflecting off its frozen surface. We wave in our thoughts to that lonely dwarf planet and the probe humans once sent to greet it. Past Pluto, the concept of distance shifts. There are no more familiar waypoints, only comets sleeping in the distant Oort cloud. These chunks of ice are like seeds scattered in a vast sphere around our sun, remnants of the birth of the solar system. Occasionally, one will fall sunward and grace Earth's skies as a comet. Out here, they keep us silent company, little icy worlds drifting slowly in the dark. Eventually, an invisible boundary is crossed. Our ship's instruments note a change. The solar wind, the stream of charged particles flowing from our sun, grows faint and is overtaken by the subtle pressure of particles and rays coming from the galaxy beyond. We have left the heliosphere, the sun's protective bubble, and truly entered interstellar space. In practical terms, nothing dramatic happens. The stars ahead don't suddenly change. But in our hearts, we know this is a milestone of immense significance. For the first time, humanity has a presence in the space between stars. We pause to reflect, peering back at our sun. At this distance, it's no longer the blinding golden disk we knew. It has diminished to a very bright star among others, still the brightest in the sky behind us, but unmistakably, just one among many. We take a photograph in our minds. That tiny point of light is our star, our home star that nurtured Earth. All of our history, every story ever told, played out in the faint glow around that dot. It strikes us how far we've come, and how far we have yet to go. The nearest star system lies ahead at a distance almost beyond imagination. If we continued on conventional fuel alone, the journey could outlast entire civilizations. But this is a voyage of dreams, and we allow ourselves to imagine technologies worthy of the task. Perhaps our ship transforms as we go, deploying great silvery sails to catch the faint pressure of starlight and the pulse of powerful lasers sent from Earth to push us faster. Or deep within our engines, atoms might fuse and release energies akin to mini-stars, driving us forward at a fraction of light speed. In whispers among ourselves, we even ponder the possibility of bending space itself, creating a ripple that shortens the distance, a gentle warp in the cosmic fabric carrying us along. One way or another, in this speculative journey, we have the means to press on. Our acceleration resumes, and the stars ahead slowly shift. Days, months, perhaps years slip by, though aboard our vessel, time has a different flow. We spend our hours in quiet pursuits, gazing out at the starfield, sharing memories of Earth, reading, dreaming, and simply being. The routine of ship life is calm and purposeful. We take turns watching the instruments, though nothing much changes out here in the void. We exercise, we write journals, we occasionally play a soft tune and let it drift through the cabin, reminding us of music under Earth's sky. As we gain speed, strange effects of physics begin to touch our voyage. Moving close to the speed of light, time itself gently bends for us. We hardly feel it, but if we could see clocks back on Earth, we would know they're moving a bit faster than our own. Our journey might take decades from our perspective, while perhaps centuries pass outside. It's a notion that could be unsettling, yet within our ship we live day by day, not feeling the passage of time in such extremes. The universe has granted us this mercy. On our ship, life goes on in a comfortable rhythm, even as the stars outside slowly change. Communication with home, which was steady at first, becomes an intermittent luxury, and then a fond memory. The further we travel, the longer our messages take to reach Earth, and the rarer the replies become, until one day they cease entirely. Perhaps our transmissions still travel outward behind us, bearing our voices like a message in a bottle on the cosmic sea. But we have sailed beyond the range, where a reply can catch up in any meaningful time. We make peace with the silence. In that quiet, we find that home is not truly lost to us. We carry it inside in our recollections, in the language we speak, in the stories and songs we know by heart. In every laugh, every shared meal aboard our ship, the spirit of Earth lives on. Not everything outside is empty on this voyage. Now and then, we encounter wonders that break the monotony of distant stars. We pass by a rogue planet, a world cast adrift from its sun, now floating alone in the darkness. We only know it's there because we detect the faint heat it still emits from its core and see a patch of starless blackness where it blocks the background glow. We study it for a short time as we glide by, a silent giant cloaked in frozen night. It reminds us that even in the emptiest stretches of space, there can be surprises. A planet without a sun is a lonely thing, yet it persists, carrying on through the cosmic night. On another occasion, our path takes us through the outskirts of an ancient supernova remnant, a thinly spread cloud of gas and dust, the remains of a star that exploded long ago. We adjust our trajectory to avoid the denser pockets. Even so, we are treated to a delicate light show as our instruments capture the faint glow of energized particles. For a moment, we float through what might be the very debris that will one day coalesce into new stars and planets. It is a gentle reminder of the life cycle of the cosmos. Stars are born, they shine and pass on, and in their passing, they sow the seeds of new creation. Through all these encounters, we continue onward, eyes always on the subtle brightening ahead. What once was just another star, among many gradually claims our attention. It grows day by day, becoming a beacon. This is our destination, the nearest neighbouring star to our sun. After a journey so long and so quiet, a thrill runs through our crew as we realise it's no longer a distant dream, but a growing light before us. We begin to discern its colour, a warm golden orange, a welcoming hue that reminds us of late afternoon sunlight back on Earth. This star is actually part of a small cluster of suns dancing around each other, but one in particular draws us near, the one with planets we've set our course toward. We prepare for arrival. Our engines, which pushed so hard for so long, now gently apply the brakes. We must slow down, or all this journey will send us hurtling past our goal. There is no friction out here to stop us. Only our calculated burns can ease our speed. So we conduct a graceful deceleration, a ballet of firing thrusters that spans weeks or months. Slowly, steadily, our ship sheds its tremendous velocity. The light of the target star grows until it is a sun in its own right, shining through our viewports. We feel its warmth on our instruments, a new dawn for us. At last, we slip into the embrace of another star's gravity. We are in a new solar system. The sensation is surreal and elating. We navigate carefully, like mariners entering an unfamiliar harbour. There are planets here. We've anticipated them, studied their faint signals from afar, but now they are truly present. One of these planets is our chosen destination, and soon we catch sight of it. A small world, illuminated by its sun, with hints of atmosphere and colour. Could that be a patch of green? Perhaps oceans? Our hearts fill with cautious excitement at the possibility. Our spacecraft settles into orbit around this alien planet. Below us lies a landscape no human has ever seen with their own eyes. Swirls of clouds cover parts of it, and through the gaps we glimpse what looks like a vast ocean and broad continents. The realization hits us. We are the first from Earth to arrive here, to be captured by the gravity of a star that is not our own, to look down at a new world where we might soon set foot. The culmination of years of travel and centuries of dreaming is at hand. As we prepare to descend, we take a moment to simply float in awe. Through the window, space is now coloured with the blues and greens, reflecting off the planet below. The star we've come to shines brightly, a steady glow that now replaces our sun's familiar light. We share a quiet smile among the crew. We have reached an island in the cosmic ocean, a new shore for humanity. Our journey between the stars has delivered us to this moment, and a gentle excitement fills the air. With hope and wonder, we board the lander that will carry us down to the surface. The great journey through space may be over for now, but a new adventure, the exploration of this world, is about to begin. We take one last look at the starry expanse beyond, knowing that beyond this achievement, countless more stars beckon us onward. But for now, our focus turns to the ground that waits below, and the story that is unfolding beneath an alien sun. The new world unfolds below us, a mosaic of colours and clouds beneath the glow of its sun. As our ship descends through thin alien clouds, we peer out with bated breath. Beneath the haze, we glimpse the curve of an ocean, reflecting unfamiliar constellations above. There are patches of emerald and ochre on the land. Could it be vegetation or mineral-rich rock glinting in the light? Our hearts beat with quiet excitement and hope. This place, once a distant speck among the stars, is becoming real under our feet. Gentle vibrations run through the hull as we slice into the atmosphere. A faint whisper of wind welcomes us, growing into a soft rush as we descend. Gravity gradually reaches out and takes us in its embrace again. After long months in freefall, we feel our weight returning, subtly at first. It is a homecoming of a different sort, setting foot on ground that is not Earth, yet solid and waiting. Our spacecraft finds a safe landing site in a broad valley near a calm, glassy lake. The ship's thrusters stir up golden dust as we settle down. When at last everything falls still, a hush envelops us. Through the window, we see a landscape illuminated by the gentle rays of an unknown sun. The sky here has a different tint, perhaps a soft peach or pale gold, coloured by the star's light and the atmosphere's chemistry. A few cotton-like clouds drift lazily, casting moving shadows on the ground. It feels peaceful, untouched. One by one, we step out onto the surface of this new world. Our boots press into soil that no human has ever walked upon. The ground is firm but slightly springy with strange moss or lichen underfoot. We pause and listen. there is a quiet sound, perhaps a breeze in distant alien trees, or the lapping of the lake against its shore. We can almost hear our own hearts in our suits, and the soft crackle of our radios. But beyond that, the world itself seems to be holding its breath, greeting us in silence. Kneeling down, we let our gloved fingers touch the ground. We scoop a small handful of soil, feeling its texture, gritty, cool, and damp. In that simple gesture, the reality of our journey sinks in. We are truly here, on a world that until now was just a point of light. The soil slips through our fingers and falls back to alien ground. It carries the faint scent of minerals and life. Yes, life. Mixed in the soil, we see something green and living. Tiny filament-like plants, or fungi, quietly thriving unseen until our arrival. A gentle thrill runs through us. Life is here. Not big or loud, but subtle and persistent. In this valley, under an alien sun, life has found a way. We rise slowly and gaze around at the valley stretching out. Low hills ring the horizon, covered in a hazy growth that could be vegetation. In the distance, crystalline formations catch the light, perhaps a salt flat, or a field of strange flowers shimmering. A cluster of stony spires stands not far off, eroded by time and wind into elegant shapes. Everything is new, and yet oddly familiar in its patterns. The play of light and shadow, the way distant shapes blur in the atmosphere. It reminds us that nature follows universal rhythms, even on a world so far from home. Above, 2 moons hang in the daytime sky, one a pale crescent, the other a faint grey disk. They watch silently, like ancient guardians. Their presence in the sky confirms that we are truly elsewhere. Back on Earth, the sky never looked quite like this. Here the daylight has its own character, a hue that gently bathes the valley in a novel palette. We take a moment to simply breathe, through our helmets now, but someday perhaps freely, and absorb the scene. Our crew begins to set up a small encampment by the landing site. A few portable habitats and instruments come out. We work patiently and softly, almost reverently, as if not to disturb the quiet majesty around us. A tent-like dome unfurls, becoming our first shelter on this world. We plant our boots firmly as we raise it, noticing that the gravity here is a bit lighter than Earth's, making each movement feel almost graceful. Soon a modest base stands, small and fragile under the vast alien sky, a first human foothold on this soil. As dusk approaches, the light of the star softens further. We gather by the lakeshore to witness our first sunset away from Earth. The star sinks toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber, violet, and turquoise that shift in ways both familiar and strange. Clouds catch fire with colour, and the calm lake mirrors the spectacle. 2 skies meeting as one above and below. In this gentle light, the distant spires and hills glow with a golden edge. We realise that though we are far from home, sunsets can be beautiful wherever there is a sky and a sun. It is a universal comfort. When the star finally slips beneath the horizon, a brief twilight lingers, then yields to night. One by one, new stars appear in the sky, and with them, the landscape takes on a silvery tint beneath the light of the moons. We shed our helmets in the safety of our camp's dome and step out to feel the alien night breeze on our faces. The air is cool, carrying the subtle scent of unknown blooms, or perhaps the mineral tang of the lake. It's breathable, perhaps thanks to the tiny plants and algae we suspected, a gift we do not take for granted. Each breath is a communion with this new world. Overhead, the heavens here unveil themselves. Constellations foreign to our eyes spark to life. We search for something familiar and find, faintly near the horizon, a hazy band of light, the Milky Way. From this vantage in the galaxy, it arches differently, but it is there, the collection of billions of stars that is our larger home. Somewhere in that immense congregation of lights is a star with a small blue planet, where someone might be looking up at the night and thinking of us. The thought is humbling and heartwarming. Across light years, we are still connected to Earth by starlight and memory. On this world's night, we can see more stars than one could ever see from Earth's crowded skies. They glitter, diamond sharp, in the clear air. One of those stars is our sun, though we cannot be sure which one without instruments. Perhaps it is that tiny pinprick twinkling near the galactic band, a subtle reminder of the home we came from. We raise a hand in that direction, a silent salute across the void. Standing together under alien constellations, we feel an overwhelming sense of achievement and gratitude. We are the universe, become conscious, having travelled across space to witness itself from another shore. The silence here is not emptiness. It is full of meaning, filled with the knowledge that life has taken a step beyond its cradle. We trade quiet smiles, and perhaps someone lets out a gentle laugh of pure joy, breaking the silence in the most tender way. Our voices sound both strange and fitting here, human laughter mingling with the whispering wind of an alien night. We spend many days and nights on this new world, learning its ways. We give it a name, born from our feelings, or perhaps from the mythology we carry with us. We explore the shores of the lake, finding peculiar shells and stones shaped by alien currents. We climb a nearby hill to survey the valley, seeing how the rivers carve their path. We watch as small, delicate creatures flutter in the dusk, tiny airborne beings, maybe insects or their equivalent, dancing among violet twilight flowers. Each discovery is gentle and wondrous. We take care not to harm anything, moving slowly and treading lightly, the way one might walk in a sacred cathedral. This planet is alive in its own subtle manner, and we are but guests, mindful and respectful. At times we sit around a modest camp lantern, sharing stories of Earth with the stars above. We talk of blue skies and rainfalls, of the song of birds at dawn back home. We wonder aloud how Earth might appear now in our absence, and who might one day hear the tale of our journey. By day, we send out a transmission aimed back toward Earth, a simple message of arrival and gratitude, knowing it will be years before it reaches human ears, but feeling comfort that our voices will travel the stars, just as we did. In quiet moments, one of us tends a small patch of soil we brought along, a tiny garden in a new world. We plant seeds from Earth, perhaps a rose, or a hardy little fern, or simple herbs reminiscent of home. With careful hands we press the seeds into the alien ground, mixing in a bit of earth soil, and moisten them. Each day we check, and one morning, a fragile green sprout greets us. under a sun that never shone on its ancestors. Life from Earth begins anew here. It is a simple sprout, but it carries profound symbolism. Where we go, life goes with us. We are seeding not just our presence, but a piece of our living world across the cosmos. Looking up from that sprout, our eyes wander to the horizon and beyond. We know this valley is just one small haven on a single planet, and this planet itself is one island among many in the void of space. There are other stars visible in this sky, each likely with its own array of worlds. Some might be barren, some might be lush, some might harbour life yet unknown. We have touched only one, and already it has changed us. It makes us wonder what else awaits out there, on other distant shores, circling other suns. As our time on this world gently draws to a close, we prepare to journey onward. We collect keepsakes, a smooth pebble, a vial of clear lake water, a pressed leaf from an alien fern. These will remind us that this place is real and will beckon us to return someday, or inspire others to follow. We know that leaving will be bittersweet. This world has been kind to us, and it will feel like leaving a second home. But our mission calls us further on. We are explorers at heart, and there are more horizons ahead. On our last evening, we climb that hill one more time. The sun of this world is setting, casting long shadows behind us. We stand together, watching stars appear one after another. The larger of the two moons is rising, painting a silver path on the lake. In the distance, the silhouette of our ship is just visible, patiently awaiting the next voyage. A gentle wind picks up, as if to say farewell. We feel a lump in our throats, a mix of joy and melancholy. How wondrous to have been here, and how poignant to leave. Yet, as we turn our gaze upward, those countless stars beckon again. The Milky Way's band is a promise that there is so much more beyond this valley, beyond this planet. Our hearts, once content just to know this world, now yearn for the next adventure. It seems the more of the universe we see, the more our wonder grows. We realize we are not meant to linger in one harbour for too long. We carry the spirit of those ancient sailors who always sought new lands beyond the horizon. Back at our camp, we carefully pack our gear and samples. The little sprout we planted sways gently in the dusk breeze. We decide to leave it here, planted in the soil of this world. It belongs here now, bridging Earth and this alien land, a living symbol of our visit. Perhaps it will thrive, or perhaps it will remain a solitary bloom. Either way, it carries our hope that one day gardens might bloom where once there were none. Boarding our ship under the cover of darkness, we take a final look at the land around us. Footprints in the dust lead to our vessel's ladder, a record of our presence that the winds will soon erase. That is all right. We have left something deeper here than footprints, a piece of our spirit, and we carry a piece of this place in our hearts. We secure ourselves inside, and when everything is ready, the engines hum quietly to life. This time, the departure is gentle. We lift off in silence, the ship rising on pillars of light as delicate as a lullaby. The ground falls away. The valley becomes a patch of dusk shadow rimmed by starlit lakes and glints of moonlight. Up we ascend, back into the silent sky. Through the viewport, we watch the world that hosted us grow smaller. We see its swirling clouds, its broad oceans, and the shimmer of its two moons. It is no longer just an unknown planet. It is a place we know, a place we touched, a place that welcomed us. In our minds, we give thanks for its hospitality. We promise silently that we will remember it always. As we break through the atmosphere into space once more, the horizon of the planet curves away beneath us until it is a whole sphere, hanging against the black. A new blue-green jewel to join Earth in the gallery of our journeys. For a while we coast in orbit, savouring the sight. The star rises from behind the planet, illuminating its edge in a halo of dawn. The spectacle is breathtaking. But we cannot stay. Our journey continues. There are other islands in the void, waiting across the cosmic sea. With resolve tinged by longing, we ignite our engines and depart the orbit of this world. The planet recedes, shining softly until it is but a small dot behind us. Ahead, the stars await, innumerable, inviting, mysterious. Our experiences on that world have strengthened our spirit. We now know that crossing space is possible, that other planets can hold both beauty and life. It gives us hope that somewhere out there, perhaps nearer, or perhaps much farther, there could be other beings, other minds under foreign skies. Maybe one distant day we will meet them, or maybe we will simply come to know their worlds through the traces they leave behind. The possibilities swirl gently in our minds as we set our sights further. The galaxy itself beckons. The star we left fades into the backdrop of the Milky Way's shimmering band. We have hopped from one sun to another, like stepping stones. How many more steps might carry us across the entire galaxy, we wonder? Hundreds, thousands. It's an almost incomprehensible distance, yet here we are, already 2 stars in. Each voyage begins with one step, and each step makes the next a little more conceivable. Our ancestors once crossed great oceans on Earth. We crossed a sea of stars on a ship of metal and hope. The next journeys might be easier or harder, but one thing is certain. We will keep going. We plot a course away from this system. The next destination is not fixed. Perhaps it will find us, revealed by a chance discovery or a subtle tug of curiosity. For now, we drift onward, content to wander through starlight and savour the magnitude of what lies before us. There is no rush. The journey itself carries meaning as much as any destination. And so, leaving one safe harbour for the unknown, we feel again that quiet thrill of anticipation within our ship's gentle hum. The cosmos has opened its door wider, and we step through once more. As our craft angles away and gains speed, we gaze one last time at the receding star system behind us. Already its sun is shrinking, and the planets have vanished from view. Ahead, space is dark, but not empty, sprinkled with the lights of far-off suns. Among those distant glimmers, there is a faint, alluring smudge, a small blur that isn't a star at all, but an entire galaxy far beyond our own. It hangs like a lantern on the edge of the universe, barely visible to our eyes, yet undeniably present. A new thought takes hold. Beyond the stars of our Milky Way, beyond the familiar spirals of our own galaxy, lie other galaxies, each a colossal island of countless stars. Our galaxy is just one among many, a single haven in an endless archipelago of galaxies. What wonders must await in those distant realms? With that thought illuminating our imaginations, we set our course with a newfound purpose. We will likely visit more stars within our galaxy first, perhaps establish another foothold or two along the way. But in our hearts, the ultimate horizon has expanded immeasurably. The void between galaxies, the true cosmic ocean, beckons to us. We do not yet know how we will cross that vast gulf, but the very idea fills us with awe and determination. For now, we let ourselves dream of those farthest shores, even as we commit to the next leg of our journey. The engines engage quietly, the stars ahead shimmer invitingly, and silently, steadily, we sail onward into the deeper unknown. Like ancient mariners pushing off from the last familiar shore, we set course into an expanse of pure unknown. Behind us, the Milky Way galaxy glitters, a sprawling archipelago of stars slowly shrinking with distance. Ahead of us lies darkness, like we have never experienced. The open ocean of cosmic space between galaxies. There are no nearby planets or suns here, only the occasional solitary star adrift in the void. The distances are so vast, our minds can only grasp them in part. Yet we carry our hope as a guiding star within, determined to cross this cosmic ocean. For a while, we can still see our home galaxy stretching across part of the sky. From this perspective, at its outskirts, the Milky Way appears as a glowing band that wraps nearly around us, its billions of stars blending into a soft luminosity. We spend quiet moments marveling at this sight, our entire galactic home visible as a unified entity, something no human has witnessed directly until now. It's like seeing Earth from space for the first time, but on a scale 1,000,000 times greater. There is a touch of melancholy in turning our backs to it, but also a thrill. We are truly going where none have gone before. As our ship leaves the galaxy's fringes, the starry backdrop thins. Those last few distant suns behind us fade into the background. When we look out the side windows now, we mostly see the black of intergalactic space. The stars that once crowded our view are primarily behind or far ahead. To our sides, above, below, an almost perfect dark. It is a darkness not like the night on Earth, not even like the emptiness between planets, but something deeper. Yet if one looks patiently, even this darkness is sprinkled with faint lights. Other galaxies far beyond our destination, like tiny cloud-like jewels scattered in the void. We recognize one as the Andromeda Galaxy, our destination, still just a delicate blur to the naked eye. Others are smaller, perhaps companion galaxies to our own, or distant star cities, tens of millions of light years away. We are reminded that even as we cross one ocean, there are countless others across the cosmos. Life aboard our ship continues in a gentle routine, with such a long journey ahead, possibly spanning generations. We have made our vessel into a floating world of its own. Gardens grow under lamplight in our hydroponic bays, providing nourishment and a touch of green for our eyes. Children play in rotating sections that simulate gravity, their laughter echoing down the corridors and giving this vast emptiness a sense of home. We pass the lore of Earth to them, stories of blue skies and rain, of grass underfoot and birds in the morning. They listen wide-eyed, some having never set foot on a planet, for they were born during the voyage. In them, Earth lives on, even as they hurtle toward a new galaxy. During the quiet nights on the ship, for we still keep a cycle of day and night for our well-being. Some of us gather by a window facing the direction of travel. We dim the lights inside to let our eyes adjust and gaze out at the almost starless dark ahead. It's akin to staring across a calm, black sea at midnight, when even the stars hide behind clouds. On those evenings, someone often shares a poem or sings a soft lullaby, remembered from our distant home. The words might speak of the sea, or of yearning, or of distant lights, verses that once described earthly nights, now repurposed for this grand voyage. In the dim starlight, a few voices join in harmony, their notes drifting into the silence. It's a gentle warmth amid the vast cold, a reminder that wherever we go, we carry our humanity with us. Out here between galaxies, time becomes even more abstract. Without the regular landmarks of planets or the changing seasons of a solar year, we mark time by the growth of those aboard and the changing size of the galaxy ahead. The children born when we left the Milky Way grow into adults. Some now have children of their own. We celebrate birthdays and anniversaries under an unchanging star field. The Milky Way is now a distant glow behind us, and Andromeda a slightly larger patch of light ahead. The journey that began with a single crew has become the life's work of a community. We live, love, learn, and one day we will arrive. From time to time, we receive faint messages from home, tight beam signals sent long ago, finally catching up to us across the Gulf. These messages are years or decades old by the time they reach us, carrying news of Earth we can only imagine now. Perhaps they tell of further advances, or of other ships that set sail after us, or simply bring the voices of loved ones, sending their good wishes into the void. We treasure each message like a capsule of time, though eventually even these transmissions cease or become too hard to detect against the background hum of the universe. In the end, our little world is self-contained, carrying its own story forward. As we press on, the space around us is almost eerily calm. There are no meteors here, no whirling nebulae or swirling comets crossing our path. Those mostly reside within galaxies. In this vast emptiness, perhaps a stray hydrogen atom or two passes through our ship's path now and then, but nothing noticeable without sensitive instruments. This emptiness is both humbling and strangely soothing. Outside, the temperature is only a few degrees above absolute zero, and the darkness nearly perfect. It's as if we are moving through a great quietude between bustling cities of stars. Many years into the voyage, we begin to notice that the Andromeda galaxy ahead is no longer just a faint blur. It has grown in size and clarity. What was once a subtle patch of light becomes a discernible spiral form. With our telescopes, we start to pick out individual clusters of stars on its periphery and the bright glow of its core. Excitement rekindles among us. After a long period of sameness, change is on the horizon again. Literally a new horizon made of countless suns. We hold small celebrations, a testament to how far we've come. Children who have only heard of the Milky Way in stories now look out and see Andromeda filling more of the view, their future taking shape before their eyes. The approach is still gradual. Even as Andromeda looms larger, it is so vast that it takes years for its features to noticeably expand. We plan our entry into this galaxy carefully. Our navigation systems, having guided us using the gentle pull of distant galaxies and the lighthouse beacons of pulsars, now must account for the growing gravitational tug of Andromeda. The galaxy's outer halo of stars and diffuse gas greets us before we even truly arrive. We find ourselves among the first sparse outposts of this star city. A few lonely star clusters, and perhaps a rogue star or two that belong to Andromeda, yet drift far in its frontier. We pass a globular cluster, an ancient spherical gathering of stars that orbits the galaxy like a satellite. Its countless stars shine together like a tiny, dense ball of glitter. We marvel at its compact beauty as we slip by, feeling like travelers spotting a lighthouse as they approach a distant coast. Behind us, if we take time to look, the Milky Way is now a faint thing, just another small galaxy in the backdrop of the universe. The thought is poignant. Our home galaxy, enormous as it is, has become a mere speck from here. Its uniqueness fades at this distance. It is one of many. We left it and sailed on the cosmic ocean for so long, and now we stand, or float, on the threshold of another grand island of stars. We hold a silent moment of reflection for the journey behind and the home we left, and then we turn our eyes forward again. New wonders await. Crossing into the new galaxy is not marked by a single moment, but by a gradual increase in stellar density around us. Day by day, the blackness ahead is peppered with more stars. The once faint glow becomes a magnificent tapestry as we truly enter Andromeda's domain. We are like a ship that has left open ocean and begun to see the scattered islands of an archipelago, which grow into the continuous shoreline of a vast new land. The stars here are strangers, yet strangely familiar too. They shine by the same light as our sun, and they twinkle with the same possibilities of planets and life. We greet them in our hearts as new friends. Soon we find ourselves immersed in starlight on all sides once more. The darkness of the intergalactic crossing gives way to a gentle luminescence. We navigate towards a particular region of this galaxy that our long ago observations suggested might host welcoming worlds. There is a sense of déjà vu. We recall our approach to the star in our own galaxy that gave us our first new world. Now we hope for another harbour in this sea of stars, a place to replenish, to set foot on solid ground again, and to prove that even between galaxies, the dream of new worlds holds true. Our initial surveys of several star systems reveal worlds of all kinds. We find a giant planet banded with raging storms and circled by rings that gleam like opals in the starlight. We skim past a smaller, rocky sphere scorched under the fierce glare of its sun. We even detect a mysterious globe cloaked in ice, concealing a deep ocean beneath its frozen crust. Each of these places fascinates us, dazzling jewels of creation, each so different. But none is a haven where we could dwell. Not yet. Undeterred, we journey further into the galaxy's embrace, trusting that among the countless stars ahead, one will offer the welcoming shore we seek. Our ship glides into the spiral arms of Andromeda. These arms are filled with nebulae, great clouds of gas and dust where new stars are born. We pass one glowing nebula, a stellar nursery casting a pinkish hue from excited gases. It's a comforting sight, evidence that life goes on in the universe. Stars die and are reborn. Galaxies swirl on for eons. We feel like honoured guests, witnessing the cycles of creation in a foreign land. After navigating carefully among star clusters and past brilliant blue-white giants burning hot and young, we come upon a more familiar type of star, a yellow sun, steady and warm. It has planets. We detect at least a few by the subtle wobbles in the star's light. This could be it, our first port of call in a new galaxy. With hope in our hearts and careful precision, we adjust our course toward this star. Our long voyage has prepared us for this moment. As we draw near to the yellow sun, one of its planets comes into view, a blue jewel swirled with white clouds. Our breath catches. It seems almost miraculous. Another world that might have oceans and skies like our Earth, here in an entirely different galaxy. We exchange amazed, delighted looks. Could it truly be so welcoming? Our instruments quickly gather data. A breathable atmosphere, liquid water, a temperate climate. Against odds that didn't daunt our dreams, we have found a second Earth far from home. Tears of joy well up in some of our eyes. Soft laughter bubbles out from others. We realize that humanity is about to set foot on a world circling an alien sun in a galaxy once thought forever beyond our reach. All the generations aboard our ship, all the love and perseverance have led to this reward. We name the planet something beautiful, perhaps after a figure of exploration or a concept of hope. But in our hearts, some simply call it New Earth. Our craft comes to rest in orbit, and preparations are made for descent. As eager as we are, we also feel a serene calm, an appreciation for the gravity of this moment. We spend one night in orbit, watching the planet's cloud patterns swirl and its night side flicker with occasional storms. We choose to arrive during local morning, touching down as the new sun crests the horizon of this world. When our landing vessel opens its hatch, a new sky greets us, one we have never seen. It's a shade of blue, perhaps slightly different from Earth's, and even in daylight, the shapes of unfamiliar constellations peek faintly overhead. We step onto soft soil under an alien sun, yet it feels like coming home. The breeze is gentle and carries the scent of unknown blooms and wet earth. In the distance, trees with curious shapes sway, and melodious calls echo from a grove of alien foliage. It's a thriving world. We are not strangers here. We are family reunited after a long separation, for we share the same cosmic ancestry. The life here and the life we brought from the Milky Way are distant cousins, born from the elements of ancient stars, each nurtured under different skies. We spend days exploring this paradise. Crystal clear streams flow through emerald meadows. The gravity is comfortable, a touch lighter than Earth's, making our steps feel almost buoyant. We find fruits on trees that, once carefully tasted, prove sweet and nourishing. Gentle animals, curious but unafraid, watch us from afar, as if recognizing that we are not predators, but fellow living beings come in peace. At night, we gather around a small campfire under the alien stars of Andromeda. The Milky Way is just a faint speck in that sky now. We feel a wave of emotion as we realize how far we have come. Singing an old Earth lullaby, we gaze upward, bridging in our hearts the world that gave us life and this new world that welcomes us. In this moment, we understand that the cosmic ocean holds endless shores. We crossed the void and found not emptiness, but a new place to belong, proof that we truly carry home with us wherever we venture. The journey has been long and the ocean dark, but here on this gentle night, under strange stars, the distance and years fall away. We are home, and yet the journey is not over. There are always further horizons, new questions, new wonders. For now, we rest on this shore, content and grateful, feeling the embrace of two galaxies at once. We drift to sleep under alien constellations, and deep in our souls, we know that when a new dawn comes, humanity will be ready to sail onward again, across whatever seas of stars may lie ahead. You stand on the shore of an alien lake under a sky that is not Earth's. The air is mild and carries a delicate, unfamiliar scent, as gentle breezes ripple across water that stretches toward a distant horizon. Above, the late afternoon sky shades into hues of amber and violet, a tapestry of colour cast by a sun that is not our sun. That star, large and apricot orange, hangs low in the west, its glow turning thin clouds into ribbons of copper and gold. High in the opposite sky, a colossal presence dominates, a gas giant planet rising, its vast ring system arcing across the heavens in bands of pale silver. The giant's cloud belts are faintly visible, stripes of ochre and white slowly swirling on a canvas of bluish twilight. It looms far larger than the moon ever did in Earth's sky, majestic and motionless, a silent guardian watching over the alien landscape. The rings catch the waning sunlight, shimmering softly like a celestial bridge suspended in the air. As you walk along the water's edge, the terrain beneath your feet feels both strange and familiar. Smooth pebbles of turquoise and grey shift softly underfoot. Now and then, you spot clusters of bioluminescent moss along the shore, beginning to glimmer in the growing dusk. Their tiny lights blink in a slow rhythm, mirrored by their reflections on the lake's surface, as if the ground itself is joining the sky in a gentle evening display. A few delicate clouds drift overhead, tinted violet by the setting sun. Through the thinning daylight, the first stars emerge, though here they are not the stars you grew up with. Constellations unknown to any human culture begin to prick the sky. One star, low in the south, shines with a steady red hue. Another toward the east flickers white-blue. They are distant suns, with their own planets and secrets. Above them all stretches a hazy band of light, a glimpse of the galaxy's dense heart, or perhaps a vast nebula shining faintly. Night is awakening, and the cosmos is coming into view. You pause and breathe deeply, taking in the alien night air. Gravity is a touch lighter here than on Earth, lending a subtle buoyancy to your movements. Each breath feels crisp and new. The breeze carries the faint fragrance of blooms from somewhere inland, sweet, but with a strange spice to it. It's a reminder that this world is alive in its own way. In the distance, across the lake, you notice tall silhouettes of peculiar trees or rock formations rising against the dimming sky. Their shapes are unfamiliar spires and arches, outlined gently by twilight. Perhaps life has taken root here, in forms your eyes can't yet discern, settling into evening routines as darkness falls. The sun sinks faster now behind distant hills. Its orange light glances off the immense rings overhead, and for a moment the lake is striped with reflections. Bands of dim gold from the sun's path intersecting with silvery arcs cast by the rings. Then the sun slips below the horizon. A brief hush falls upon the world. In that hush, you realize how quiet it is. Only the soft lapping of water at your feet and the far-off whisper of wind through alien foliage. Twilight deepens. The sky overhead darkens from violet to deep indigo. The gas giant above, freed from the competing glare of daylight, becomes even more striking. Its rings gleam brighter against the darkness, a half circle spanning the vault of the sky. On the giant planet's face, you can now make out subtle patterns, swirls of storm perhaps, or the glint of light on turbulent clouds in its atmosphere. Though it hangs millions of kilometers away, its presence feels immediate and almost protective, casting a soft glow of reflected light across the lake. It is a second sky within the sky, its curve so vast you have to turn your head to take it all in. Stars continue to multiply above the horizon, so many more stars than you would see back home on a moonless night. Perhaps the air here is clearer, or perhaps this world lies closer to the galaxy's crowded center. The Milky Way, or whatever name the beings here might give that river of stars, pours across the heavens in a magnificent torrent of pale light. Under this alien sky, you feel both wondrously alive and peacefully small, like a child again beneath the stars, but with new constellations to learn and new stories to imagine for each glittering pattern. Two smaller moons become visible as darkness grows. One is a tiny pearl-white disk that rises quickly above the eastern horizon, chasing the recently departed sun. The other is a dimmer, bluish point of light farther north, perhaps a distant outer moon of the gas giant, reflecting sunlight in a ghostly hue. They accompany the night quietly, moving on their own paths around the great ringed planet. Their presence adds to the sky's enchantment. Multiple moons riding the dusk, casting faint, moving shadows that dance on the ground as they climb higher. You find a comfortable spot on a smooth, flat stone near the water's edge and sit down. The stone is still warm from the day, and it sends a gentle heat through your clothing. The lake spreads out before you like a dark mirror. Now that the sun has set completely, the sky's reflection becomes clearer in the water, as if you could gaze downward and see an entire universe beneath your feet. The first stars shimmer on the surface. The rings create a ghostly band across the rippling reflection. When you lightly run your hand through the water, it is cool. Bioluminescent specks drift in the gentle current, sparkling around your fingers like tiny fallen stars. In this quiet moment, with night fully arrived, you lean back and watch the heavens. The alien world around you fades into the background of your senses, and your attention lifts to the cosmic scene above. Everywhere you look, there are stars upon stars. Some shine steady and ancient, others twinkle playfully. Perhaps one of those distant stars is actually our sun, your home star, now just a faint pinprick among the rest. The thought sends a pang of nostalgia and a thrill of perspective through you. Somewhere far away, orbiting that tiny light, is Earth, with its familiar blue skies and known constellations. But here, under an alien sky, you are an explorer of the cosmic ocean, seeing the universe from a new shore. An aurora unexpectedly dances at the far horizon, faint ribbons of greenish light weaving above the silhouette of the distant hills. This world's magnetic field must be interacting with particles from its sun, much like Earth's auroras. The lights sway slowly, a cosmic curtain undulating in silence. Their reflection shimmers in the lake, creating ghostly twin auroras above and below. You smile at this familiar yet foreign beauty, a sign that even across light years, nature creates similar wonders. Overhead, a shooting star streaks silently across the sky, a tiny grain of cosmic dust giving its life in a brief blaze of light as it enters the atmosphere. You make a wish, an old habit from home that feels comforting to repeat here. Perhaps you wish for understanding, or for safe travels, or simply offer gratitude for the chance to witness such splendor. The meteor's trail fades quickly, but its memory lingers, a reminder that you share this universe with countless other pieces of stardust. In the quiet that follows, you begin to wonder, What other eyes might be looking up at these same stars tonight? Are you truly alone here? On this gentle evening on a distant world, the sky above seems alive with possibilities. Each star could host its own planets, its own observers gazing upward as you do. Perhaps somewhere, someone stands under their own alien sky, wondering about you just as you wonder about them. The thought is both humbling and heartwarming that across the vast gulf of space there may be kinship in stargazing, a universal longing to know and not be alone. Your gaze drifts back to the great ringed giant dominating the sky. Its serene bulk has watched over countless nights here. Does anyone live on those other moons orbiting that titan, marveling at the rings from their own vantage? Or perhaps on this very planet, somewhere beyond those hills, there are others with eyes adapted to the orange sun, who have their own myths and stories about the rings and the stars beyond. The night invites such questions gently, without urgency, as if there will be all the time in the world to seek the answers. With a calm heart, you stand once more. The night is deep and clear around you. Far across the lake, a cluster of tiny lights catches your eye, soft and wavering, perhaps glowing nocturnal creatures moving among distant trees, or a trick of the atmosphere. It could even be a settlement, though it's hard to tell from here. The ambiguity doesn't trouble you. It only adds to the mystery of this place. You feel a quiet connection to whatever lives here, a shared moment under the same sky. A gentle yawn escapes you as the day's journey catches up to your body. You feel pleasantly tired, the kind of fatigue that comes from wonder and exploration. The stone where you sat invites you to rest a while longer. You sit again and let your eyes slip between open and closed, listening now to the soothing sounds around you. The water's rhythmic lap against the shore is like the planet's own breathing. Insects, or something analogous to insects, chirp softly in the grasses behind you, in a pattern that is unfamiliar, yet comforting in its steady cadence. The wind in the strange trees forms a slow hush, like a distant ocean tide. Above, the stars and the great celestial disk of the gas giant continue their stately dance. Time flows without meaning under such a sky. You might have been here for minutes or hours. The stars overhead have wheeled a bit further along their courses, and the little white moon has climbed higher, now shining almost directly above. Its gentle light casts faint shadows. You see your own shadow on the ground, a dim outline haloed by the glow of that moon and the starlight combined. You wave your hand slowly, watching the shadow move in return, a silent companion on this quiet night. In this stillness, your thoughts wander further out among the stars. If only you could talk to them, those hypothetical watchers on other worlds. What would you say? Perhaps you would simply share the silence with them, the way two friends might sit together wordlessly enjoying a peaceful view. Or perhaps you would say, "I am here. You are not alone." The imagination reaches outward, trying to bridge the light years with unspoken feeling. You recall the countless nights on Earth you spent looking up, hopeful that someone else might be looking back. Now you are the someone beneath an alien sky, looking up on behalf of all of us. Your hand goes to a small device at your side, a transmitter or beacon that you brought for this journey, unsure if you would ever use it. It's capable of sending a simple greeting into the void, a signal on multiple frequencies, saying hello in the language of mathematics and radio waves. For a long moment, You hesitate, weighing whether to activate it now, here under this foreign sky. The lake's gentle sounds seem to encourage you, an almost imperceptible push against the age-old human fear of calling out into the unknown. Finally, with slow deliberation, you switch the beacon on. A faint hum indicates that a greeting is being released into the night, an invisible ripple spreading out at the speed of light from this lakeshore into the cosmos. You imagine the signal traveling beyond this world, beyond the guardian planet with its rings, beyond the orange sun that lights this sky, carrying with it a piece of Earth's voice and your own. It is a tiny act of hope, a spark sent into the dark. Will anyone hear it? Will anything answer? For a while, you simply sit with the transmitter, quietly broadcasting its greeting to the stars. Nothing in your immediate surroundings changes. There is no sudden response, no sign from the sky that you have been heard. Only the steady chorus of alien crickets in the grasses keeps sounding, and the lake keeps whispering to the shore. Perhaps that is answer enough for now. The assurance that this world around you is at peace, that life can be content under a vast, silent sky. You feel a sense of communion already, just by sharing this moment with the nature of this world. But your gaze keeps wandering upward, wondering and hoping for something more. The stars stare back, distant and inscrutable. The great silence of the cosmos envelops this planet as softly as the night. Eventually, you begin to feel a chill as the night progresses and the warmth stored in the ground slowly dissipates. It might be time to leave the lakeshore and seek rest. You stand and stretch, giving the sky a last sweeping look, memorizing the alien constellations that have become strangely dear to you in this short time. The transmitter's small light blinks steadily, indicating it continues to send its greeting. You leave it on, letting it speak on your behalf to the quiet stars, while you make your way back to your camp and landing craft. Walking away from the lake, you tread carefully to avoid disturbing the glimmering moss patches and tiny, delicate life forms around your feet. The path you came by is barely visible in the dark, but a soft light on your suit guides you. Behind you, the lake lies still and dark, holding the memory of reflected stars. Ahead, beyond a gentle rise, is where your spacecraft rests, your means of traveling among these stars. As you crest the small hill and the shoreline falls out of sight, you take one last glance upward at the magnificent ringed planet and its starry backdrop. You carry this sky with you now, etched in memory. The universe has shown you one of its countless faces tonight, and it is beautiful beyond words. A part of you hates to leave, but you know the night's journey isn't over. Many more sights and experiences await. With a final silent thank you to this alien sky for its hospitality, you step into your vessel, prepare for departure, and gently lift off the ground. Rising through the night, you watch the landscape recede below. The lake's dark gleam, the outline of hills, and the softly glowing patches of life become smaller and fainter. Soon, only pinpoints of light remain, the bioluminescent specks on the shore twinkling like embers, until they too merge into the general darkness. Your craft ascends higher, and the air thins into space's vacuum. The sky blackens completely, and the stars no longer twinkle, but shine steady and clear. The ringed gas giant grows even more immense in apparent size for a while, as you climb away from the moon's surface, its horizon curving grandly beneath you. Moments later, You cross above that giant world's horizon. The entire planet spreads out beneath you, a massive sphere banded with clouds and adorned with shining rings encircling it like a halo. Starlight glints off the ring's billions of ice fragments, producing a delicate, ethereal glow. In the distance, you can spot other moons. One, a cratered, rocky ball lit by faint reflected light. Another, a tiny spark trailing in orbit. The planet's night side is mostly dark, with just a dim amber luminescence where its atmosphere catches the light. The sight is mesmerizing and humbling. Your spacecraft continues to rise, slipping silently into the space between worlds. The alien lake and the gentle shore where you sat are now far below and behind, part of a shining moon that quickly becomes a silver crescent and then vanishes from view. You take a deep breath. Within the cocoon of your vessel, you hear the soft hum of systems and the gentle beating of your own heart, small sounds that emphasize the vast quiet outside. Out here, above that alien sky, the stars shine even more fiercely. They pierce the darkness in every direction. Ahead of you lies the endless expanse of the cosmos, the next chapter of your journey. The greeting you sent from the lakeshore travels outward, now far behind you, like a voyager of its own, making its way through the quiet night. In your mind, you carry the image of that serene world and the hopeful message you released. As you set your course deeper into the stars, a quiet resolve settles in you. You will listen for an answer, no matter how long it takes. For a long while, as your ship glides through interstellar darkness, there is only silence. The beacon you left behind still sends its greeting into the void, but no reply comes. You are a lone traveler in a boundless ocean of night, surrounded by the quiet of a million stars. This vast quiet has a name among those who ponder such things. The great silence, the uncanny hush of a universe that logic tells us should be alive with countless voices. And yet, as far as your ears and instruments can tell, you might be the only one speaking, a solitary voice calling out with no response. Inside your small vessel, the only sounds are the soft whir of circulation fans and your own breathing. These gentle murmurs only accentuate the stillness outside. You place a hand on the cool glass of your viewport and gaze out at the cosmos beyond. Stars slip by slowly as pinpoints of light. Between them stretches an immense black gulf where not even a whisper can be heard, for sound cannot travel in the vacuum. It is a silence more profound than any you've known, a silence that is cosmic in scale. If not for your own thoughts and the faint rhythm of your pulse in your ears, you would hear absolutely nothing at all. You think of Earth, of how for many years people have strained to listen to this silence. You imagine the giant radio telescopes back on your home planet, enormous metal dishes perched in valleys and on mountaintops, all ears turned skyward, hoping to catch even the faintest murmur of another intelligence. They scanned the heavens patiently, night after night, hearing the song of pulsars and the roar of distant quasars, but no deliberate hello from any alien world. Year after year, just static and natural cosmic noise. It's as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. "Where is everyone?" you murmur into the still air, voicing the question Enrico Fermi famously asked decades ago. In a galaxy of hundreds of billions of suns, it seems unimaginable that humanity could be the only technological civilization. Surely by now someone else should have lit a beacon, built a transmitter, or left some sign among the stars. Yet all you meet is emptiness and quiet. The stars stare back, distant and unknowable, offering no explanation. Perhaps we truly are alone, you consider wistfully. Perhaps life, at least life that builds machines and speaks across space, is so exceedingly rare that your own civilization stands as the first light to appear in a great cosmic dark. If that were true, then this silence would simply be the natural hush before any chorus, the quiet of a universe that has yet to awaken beyond one tiny world. The thought makes you shiver. It is both humbling and a bit lonely to imagine a cosmos where only Earth has brought forth beings who can wonder and dream among the stars. Another possibility crosses your mind, tinged with melancholy. Maybe the universe was teeming with life once, but it's quiet now because those voices have flickered out. Civilizations might bloom like brief flowers on isolated planets and then wither, leaving behind no lasting song. Perhaps they rise, reach moments of brilliance, and then fall to silence, through self-destruction, natural disaster, or simply the passage of time. If intelligence has a habit of extinguishing itself, the galaxy could be littered with the faint echoes of those who came before, now long faded. In that case, the quiet around you would be the hush of a cosmic graveyard, the silence where civilizations lie in ruin, each one having never met the others. You shake your head gently, unwilling to accept such a grim fate as the only answer. The void encourages introspection, but it can also magnify despair if you let it. Absence of evidence, you remind yourself, is not evidence of absence. Just because you hear nothing now does not mean no one is out there. Perhaps many are out there, but choose to remain silent or hidden. The great silence might be a choice, a mutual, unspoken agreement to keep quiet, like campers around a dark forest clearing who dare not call out, wary of unknown dangers. Maybe every civilization tends to listen and watch, but not shout, each fearful or prudent, waiting for someone else to make the first move. Or could it be that the conversation is happening in ways we haven't learned to detect? You gaze at a cluster of stars and wonder. Perhaps the universe is alive with signals, but they flow through channels our technology and senses can't yet pick up. Advanced beings might communicate using neutrinos, those nearly undetectable particles that pass through entire planets like ghosts, or via subtle alterations in quantum states, instantaneous and invisible to us. They might even use pulses of gravity or manipulate space-time itself to send their messages. If so, the cosmos around you could be like a library full of books in a language you don't yet read, a great conversation all around, but in whispers too refined for your current ears. Then again, the reason might be simpler: distance and time. The gulf between stars is tremendous. Even signals travelling at light speed take years, centuries, millennia to journey from star to star. Perhaps someone, somewhere, did call out long ago, but their voice is still on its way, crossing the light years slowly, like a ship crossing a vast ocean. It could arrive tomorrow, or in a century, and until then, we sit in quiet anticipation. Likewise, our own earliest radio calls have barely brushed the nearest stars. An expanding bubble of old television transmissions and Morse code just tens of light years across. Most of the galaxy hasn't even had the chance to hear us yet. In this perspective, the great silence isn't an eternal void, but a pause. The first act of a dialogue may be unfolding, and we simply happen to live in the moment before the reply comes. As your ship drifts onward, you occasionally pass marvels of nature that speak in their own way. At one point, you skirt the edges of a nebula, a vast cloud of luminous gas where new stars are being born. Its filaments of glowing purple and green stretch like gossamer threads across the darkness. The nebula makes no sound, of course, but in its radiant light, you feel a kind of ancient story being told, a story of creation amid the void. Another time, you navigate through the outskirts of a cluster of young stars, hot and blue, shining together in a tight group. They gleam like a handful of diamonds cast on black velvet. These natural wonders are silent, yet profound. The universe may not speak in words, but it communicates through beauty, through the silent majesty of light and form. During one quiet stretch of your journey, your radio suddenly crackles with a rhythmic pulse. Your heart leaps as you lean forward to study the signal. It's a steady beat, repeating with perfect regularity, a pattern not unlike a beacon. For a fleeting moment, hope flares that this could be the sign you've been longing for, an engineered signal cutting through the cosmic background hiss. The pulses come fast, dozens of times each second, too rapid and uniform to be random static. It truly sounds like a deliberate transmitter, or a code. You adjust your receiver, trying various filters and decodings, recording the pattern. The spaceship's computer attempts to interpret it, but the pulses remain an enigma. Then, as you analyze the intervals and frequencies, recognition dawns, and you can't help a soft chuckle at yourself. This signal is not a greeting from extraterrestrials at all. It's a pulsar. You recall the story. When the first pulsar was detected, its precise, regular pulses were so uncanny that astronomers half-jokingly labelled it LGM-1 for Little Green Men 1, wondering if it might be an alien beacon. But it turned out to be something natural and wondrous, the rapidly spinning corpse of a massive star, sending lighthouse-like beams of radiation into space with clockwork precision. That is what you're hearing now. The star died and collapsed ages ago, and now its dense core rotates and flashes, a metronome of the galaxy ticking off the millennia. It's beautiful in its own way, a cosmic heartbeat echoing through the void, but it is not the voice of another mind. With a mixture of awe and a touch of disappointment, you listen a while to the pulsar's music. It is comforting to know the universe has its own rhythms and beats, even if they are not intended for us. Eventually the pulses fade as your ship moves beyond the neutron star's range. The great silence settles in again, deep and undisturbed. In that silence, you find solace by recalling how humanity has refused to let the quiet deter our hope. We have sent our own voices into this void, trusting that someone might be listening. In your vessel's memory banks, you carry echoes of those efforts. One story in particular always warms your heart: the journey of the voyagers. Decades ago, long before your current voyage, humankind launched two small probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, on one-way journeys out of the solar system. Affixed to each was a golden record, a time capsule of sounds and images from Earth. It was a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic sea. You picture one of those golden records, still attached to its spacecraft now far beyond Pluto, drifting in interstellar space. On it are etched the signatures of people who dreamed of distant friends. You remember some of the things the record carries: the sound of ocean waves crashing on a beach, the song of crickets on a summer night, the laughter of children, greetings spoken in dozens of human languages, wishing any finder goodwill. There is music too, classical symphonies and rock and roll, jazz and folk songs, a chorus of humanity's emotions made audible. There are images encoded as well. Earth's majestic landscapes, the double helix of DNA, the silhouette of a man and a woman, a mother holding her baby. There's even the rhythmic thump of a human heartbeat, captured for eternity. All of that, our home's sights and sounds, our attempt to say, this is who we are, is sailing silently beyond the edges of our solar system. Somewhere far behind you in the darkness, those Voyager probes still wander between the stars, each carrying its golden greeting. Perhaps one distant day, a civilization will intercept one, like a drifting bottle plucked from a boundless ocean. Perhaps they will play the record and hear the crackling voice of a human from long ago saying, "Hello," from the children of planet Earth. Or listen to whale song and Beethoven and Chuck Berry, and know that in this corner of the galaxy, someone cared enough to send a greeting. The thought brings a gentle smile to your face. Even if you personally hear nothing now, humanity has not been idle. We have been sending hellos into the dark, confident that we are not shouting into an empty void, but greeting future friends we have yet to meet. We have done more than that. Earth scientists even beamed a deliberate radio message once, in 1974, a series of ones and zeros sent from a great telescope toward a distant star cluster, encoding a friendly introduction. Later, other messages followed, directed at nearby stars, a digital hand stretched out, saying, "This is us. We are here. Is anyone out there?" Those signals are now traveling across the light years, spreading out like ripples on a pond, faint yet persistent as they traverse the darkness. Perhaps someday, far away, an antenna will catch those patterns, and an alien mind will piece together the simple pictograms we sent. They might see the shapes of humans drawn in binary, the diagram of our solar system, the chemical formula of DNA, and they'll know that they are not alone. You take heart in these memories. The great silence may surround you now, but you carry inside the knowledge that your species never stopped seeking companionship in the cosmos. Each listening ear we aimed at the sky, each message we launched or beamed out, these were like candles we lit against the dark. And here you are, following in that tradition, journeying farther than anyone before in pursuit of an answer. How long will you travel? How long will you listen? As long as it takes, you think quietly to yourself. Days and nights have lost their usual meaning out here. You sleep when tired and wake to an endless night studded with stars. Sometimes, as you doze, you dream of distant voices or friendly cities of light on far-off worlds. These dreams carry you through the silent stretches, giving you renewed purpose each time you awaken to the still darkness outside. Other times you simply lie awake in your bunk, staring at the pinpricks of light through your viewport, feeling tiny, yet determined. Then one day, though day is an arbitrary term in the starfield, something changes. Your ship's path has brought you nearer to a particular star, one that's been on the edge of your awareness for some time. It wasn't remarkable before, just one among countless distant suns. But now, as you routinely check your instruments, you see that this star's light is behaving strangely. On your display, the star's brightness is plotted over time, and that line has begun to dip and rise in an erratic pattern. Frowning, you focus your telescope more closely. A dip is happening right now. Nearly 15% of the star's light has vanished. Now it's climbing back, returning to normal. You watch, holding your breath. Several hours pass, then another sudden dip, this time even deeper, as if something enormous briefly eclipsed half the star. Then it returns again. Your mind races through natural explanations. A planet crossing in front of the star. No. Planets follow regular orbits and would cause neat, periodic dips, not this irregular semaphore of darkness. A swarm of comets breaking up? Possible, but the odds of so many large fragments aligning just so, and repeatedly, seem remote. Some kind of stellar hiccup, an instability in the star itself. Perhaps, but the star's spectrum looks steady and ordinary for its type. There's no sign of a starquake or flare. What then? An exhilarating, unsettling thought takes hold. Could it be a sign of intelligence? On Earth, people have speculated about alien megastructures, vast constructions built by advanced beings to harness the energy of their star. A Dyson sphere, or Dyson swarm, they called the idea, imagining swarms of satellites, or even a shell encircling a sun to capture its light. Could you now be witnessing exactly that? Perhaps a network of colossal solar collectors orbiting this star, causing its light to dim in complex, non-repeating ways, as seen from your vantage. It's a wild hypothesis, almost too hopeful to voice, but nothing else fits easily. Your heart pounds at the possibility that this could be it. Evidence of an alien civilization, not in a message addressed to you, but written in the very way their star's light behaves. With trembling fingers, you set a new course, steering your ship toward that enigmatic, flickering star. It lies off the straight path you'd been following, but that hardly matters now. Every instinct in you, both as an explorer and as a lonely soul searching for others, urges you toward this mystery. The engines hum to life, and you feel a gentle push as your vessel accelerates out of its coasting trajectory onto a direct intercept. The star in question is still many light years away, but your craft is capable of remarkable speed, perhaps using advanced propulsion or shortcuts through space that earlier generations could only dream of. Even so, the journey won't be instantaneous. You settle in for what might be weeks or months of travel, with anticipation as your companion. As you draw nearer over many days, you monitor the star's behavior closely. The strange dips continue, sometimes long periods of steady light, sometimes sudden deep fades. No simple rhythm reveals itself, yet clearly something is occluding the star in a deliberate-looking way. Your onboard AI runs analyses against all known natural light curve patterns, eclipsing binaries, rotating variables, swirling clouds of dust. None match this erratic, intriguingly patterned dimming. With each passing day, your cautious hope grows stronger that you are seeing something artificial. Often you catch yourself pacing the small cabin, or tapping your fingers anxiously on the console, as if approaching a long-awaited meeting. The solitude that weighed on you earlier is now tempered by excitement. The possibility that you may be closing the distance to an answer, that your personal journey through the great silence is nearing its end. Finally, the day arrives when the star is no longer just a pinpoint on your screen or an abstract pattern on a graph. It has swollen into a discernible disk, and around it you can begin to resolve a clutter of objects. You lean forward, heart in your throat, as the visual feed sharpens. At first, you see what looks like a thick dust ring encircling the star. But as you adjust the image contrast, you realize it's not dust at all. It's a collection of distinct shapes. Large dark objects peppered around the star, like satellites of immense size. Some are flat and broad, catching a glint of the star's light on reflective surfaces. Others are elongated or clustered together. There is an entire complex of them, swarming in orbit. It's as if the star sits at the center of a vast mechanical hive or a fragmented shell. Your breath catches. This is far beyond anything humanity has built, far beyond even our boldest dreams. You are witnessing engineering on a stellar scale. Piece by piece, the clues coalesce in your mind. These must be the components of a Dyson swarm, a multitude of structures working in concert to harvest a star's energy. No wonder the star's light was flickering. You were seeing the gaps and overlaps of those structures moving. And the pattern wasn't simple because this array is no simple uniform ring. It's the industrious, glorious tangle of a civilization harnessing its sun. Tears well up as you stare at the scene. In this moment, you know, you are not alone. Not only do you have evidence of another intelligence, you are gazing upon their handiwork. Here, many light years from Earth, the great silence has been broken by a silent tableau of colossal machines. After all the lonely nights and unanswered calls, here is a response, writ in steel and starlight rather than in words, but a response nonetheless. Someone, long ago perhaps, decided to tame this sun and build around it. They had the will, knowledge, and resources to encase a star in their technology. That fact in itself is a greeting across time and space, a monument calmly declaring, "We exist." Your ship glides closer, and you gently decelerate, not wanting to barrel unannounced into what is essentially someone's cosmic backyard. Heart thudding, you approach with caution and respect. The structures ahead are enormous, filling your view. One of the nearer objects comes into focus, a flat, rectangular construct hundreds of kilometers wide, faintly gleaming with reflected light on one side, dark on the other. It could be a giant solar collector, soaking up the star's radiance, or perhaps the underside is a habitat, shielded from direct sunlight. Farther in, you see curving arcs that might be segments of a great incomplete sphere, each slowly circling in its orbit. The entire vista is like a vast, mechanical orrery, an intricate model solar system built by minds, all silently turning around the brilliant white star at the center. And then it truly hits you. Where there are works, there are workmen. Where there is creation, there must be creators. Somewhere in that maze of megastructures, living beings, or their machines, must be present. Intelligence that built and maintains this stellar edifice. Perhaps they dwell on the inner faces of those immense panels, in rotating habitats bathed in steady light, or on planets and moons now hidden by the swarm. They might not even live there any longer. This could be a relic, still orbiting long after its makers moved on. But your intuition says it's active. Everything appears too orderly, too purposeful to be abandoned. There is life's touch here. A wave of empathy and excitement surges through you. After so much searching, here, before your eyes, are signs of another civilization's dreams and labors. The great silence wasn't emptiness at all. It was simply that we hadn't yet encountered the places where voices live. The silence has been broken not by a radio call, but by this grand, silent music of machinery. It is as if you had been wandering a dark, quiet city at night, and suddenly come upon a lit window, hearing faint music from within. You haven't met the inhabitants yet, but you know now that someone is home. Holding your ship at a safe observation distance, you allow yourself a moment of pure marvel. The star at the center pours out its light, and dozens upon dozens of enormous constructs catch that light, converting it to energies and purposes you can only imagine. The idea that a star could be captured, surrounded and domesticated once felt like far-off speculation. Yet here it is real. A captured sun, shining only as its masters intend, its brilliance no longer spilling freely into space, but carefully harnessed. As you watch, one of the smaller objects, a mere dot compared to the megastructures, detaches from a larger panel and moves, perhaps a maintenance vessel or a ship of theirs. That motion is the final confirmation. This is a functioning, active system. Intelligence is truly at work here. The loneliness that weighed on you lifts, replaced by an almost giddy wonder. The silence around you now feels different. It's no longer the emptiness of solitude, but the quiet, expectant hush before a greeting. Your journey has reached a turning point. The question that drove you across the stars, "Are we alone?" has its answer at last. We are not alone. Others are here. The next question becomes, will we meet them? You sit back in your pilot's chair and take a deep breath, trying to steady the exhilaration inside. Far ahead, the star glints, half veiled by the works of minds utterly alien, and yet, in this moment, kindred spirits in their desire to survive and create. You have found the sign you were looking for. Now the great silence is poised to give way to a new chapter, a possible great conversation, if only you can find a way to say hello. You have come to the brink of an encounter, and now the moment has arrived to act. Taking a steadying breath, you prepare to make contact in the only way you can across such distance. Your hands move over the communication controls, setting your transmitter to broadcast toward the star and its swarming megastructures. You compose a simple greeting in radio waves. First, a sequence of prime numbers, unmistakably artificial, a universal hello from one mathematical mind to another. Then you add a basic encoding of friendly intent, perhaps a familiar binary pattern or a simple tune of pulses. It's a cosmic knock on the door, gentle, polite, and hopeful. For a few long moments after your signal goes out, there is no response. The star and its orbiting constructs continue to shine silently, as they have for ages. You begin to wonder if perhaps they didn't notice or can't hear on this frequency. But then your receiver blinks. An incoming transmission is detected. Heart pounding, you listen. A burst of energy sweeps over your ship, centered precisely on the frequency you used. At first it's just a faint hum, but within it you detect structure. There are patterns interlacing, far more complex than the simple pulse you sent. Tones rise and fall, and bursts of modulation carry layers of encoded information. It's not a single simple reply. It's rich with data, like a tapestry of sound. You quickly record the signal and begin to analyze it. Part of you half expected the first reply to mirror your message. Maybe a return sequence of primes, a basic, "I hear you." But this is something else entirely. It's as if they were prepared, waiting with a greeting of their own as soon as someone reached out. The transmission lasts only a short while, and then stops, as if awaiting your response. Slowly, you start to tease out its components. Like solving a gentle puzzle, your ship's AI helps, parsing the frequencies and modulations. You find a basic key in the mathematics of the signal, perhaps a kind of header that establishes a common frame of reference. Soon, shapes emerge on your screen. They have included visual information in the message. Your breath catches as the first image resolves. It appears to be a simple star map, a diagram of several stars with lines connecting them. At the center is a marking for the star before you. Off to one side, another star is highlighted, a tiny symbol by it. Cross-referencing with your own charts, you realize that highlighted star is our sun. They are showing you the local stellar neighborhood, indicating both their star and, remarkably, pointing out your star. In one stroke, they've confirmed they know where you came from, It's an elegant gesture of knowledge and acknowledgement. We see you, and we know where home is for you. Another image comes through, a simple representation of a figure, perhaps one of them. It's drawn in strokes of light, a silhouette with a slender body, and to your eyes, multiple limbs or a flowing shape. It's not human, certainly. The outline stands on or beside a circle, maybe representing their world or star, with a smaller figure next to it. It reminds you of how we sent drawings of a man and woman on our early plaques. This could be their way of introducing themselves physically, showing a basic form of their species or people. Warmth fills you as you realize they are indeed introducing themselves in the same spirit we would. Across the gulf of light years, two intelligent beings are exchanging the most basic and profound of messages. This is where I live. This is what I look like. They are bridging the gap with information they hope you can understand. You sense thoughtfulness, even a certain humility in the simplicity of the images. They aren't flaunting technology or making demands. They're saying, "Here is who we are. Who are you?" You respond in kind. With hands that are now a little unsteady from excitement, you begin assembling a return message. Using your computer's interface, you create a simple image, a line drawing of a human figure. Two figures, in fact, a human man and woman standing side by side, waving. It echoes the pioneer plaque illustration. Next to them, you sketch a small representation of our solar system, a star with several orbiting dots, the third dot highlighted, Earth, and a tiny craft with a line showing its trajectory outward, perhaps indicating your ship's journey. You add one more element, a basic chemical formula of water or DNA, something to signify biology. It's challenging to decide what best represents us in one picture, but you keep it straightforward. Satisfied that this is a sincere self-portrait of humanity, you transmit the data, sending our own "this is us" into the void. Moments later, a new signal arrives from them. It's quicker this time, almost as if they anticipated your reply and were ready to continue the dialogue. A series of tones and pulses comes through, and your translation software begins to work on it. The pattern starts simple. Perhaps they recognized your drawing and are acknowledging it. Amid the tones, you pick out what seems to be a repetition of the number of planets you indicated, and a friendly burst that could be interpreted as a confirmation or greeting. They send a structured sequence now. Pulses that correspond to basic numbers, then an audio tone sweeping up and down. Could that be an attempt at exchanging language sounds? Your ship's AI suggests that this might be a phonetic introduction, offering you sounds from their spoken language attached to certain basic ideas, like yes or no. It's astonishing. Already the two of you are establishing a rudimentary vocabulary, trading building blocks of communication. It dawns on you that this is truly happening. An intelligent conversation, however basic, across the stars. What science fiction imagined is unfolding before you in reality. Minutes, then hours pass as you and the beings around that star carefully expand your shared language. Patience and clarity guide every exchange. You transmit simple mathematical truths, 2 + 2 = 4, and they respond correctly, confirming understanding. They send back the value of pi in a long string of digits, showing they know universal constants. You each share your terms for elements, using spectral lines as reference. Bit by bit, the abstract tones and images acquire meaning. You manage to convey units of measure by referring to fundamental constants. For instance, using the wavelength of a certain light as a baseline. They catch on, and soon you agree on a common unit for distance and time. With that, a floodgate opens. You can share information about the size of things, the length of a day, the span of a year. You tell them Earth's gravity and atmosphere composition. They tell you the metrics of their colossal habitat system. Through diagrams and carefully coded messages, you learn the outlines of who they are. This star's civilization, you start thinking of them as the Illyrian, a name that drifts unbidden into your mind, perhaps inspired by the musical tones of their language, has inhabited this system for a very long time. They once lived on a planet orbiting here, a world likely very different now, or perhaps gone, as their focus long ago shifted to building and living in these megastructures. Their population and society now flourish in myriad habitats that form the swarm around their sun. In effect, they have many artificial worlds instead of one natural planet. In turn, you share the story of humanity and Earth. You convey that we come from the third planet of our star, a blue world of water and continents, blessed with abundant life. They request, through a politely coded query, more about our planet, clearly intrigued by the idea of an open-air world. Happily, you compile an image of Earth as seen from space, the marble of blue ocean, green-brown land, and white swirls of cloud. You send this picture along with data about our atmosphere's composition and the gentle gravity we live under. As you transmit the image of Earth, a swell of pride and homesickness washes over you. You wonder what they will think of this little jewel of a world. Their response arrives in the form of an enhanced version of the very image you sent, modified to highlight certain features, showing they received it clearly. Overlaid on it is a symbol, 2 intersecting circles. Your rudimentary lexicon suggests this is an expression of admiration or beauty. A lump comes to your throat as you realize they are telling you your world looks lovely to them. Perhaps, enclosed in their sphere as they are, the sight of a freely spinning, ocean-clad planet touches them deeply. They likely haven't seen a natural sky in generations, only through instruments. To witness a cloud-swirled globe might stir in them a nostalgia or curiosity beyond words. Indeed, you soon exchange more about the environments you each call home. They send you a schematic cross-section of one of their habitats, a vast cylindrical world that rotates to create gravity, with land on the inner surface and a central sun line running along the axis to distribute light from the star. It's an ingenious design, one of many in their swarm. They explain that they simulate day and night by shading their interior lights on a cycle. They have recreated rivers, forests, and lakes inside those enormous structures. By contrast, you describe Earth's natural cycles, how our planet spins to give day and night, how our tilted axis yields seasons. They seem fascinated by the notion of a sky where one can directly see the galaxy and a cosmos full of stars. In one message, they admit something poignant. Through a string of symbols and a wistful tonal shift, they convey that they have not seen the open stars with their own eyes in a very long time. When they committed to enclosing their sun for the greater good of their civilization, they sacrificed the natural night sky. They know the universe only through telescopes and displays now. It was a price they paid willingly for energy and security. But hearing about our sky, and especially seeing our photographs of starry nights, has stirred their emotions. On an impulse, you decide to share a gift that only someone from an open sky world could give. You select several images from your journey. The dazzling panorama of the Milky Way you observed from the alien lake under the rings, the sight of that enormous gas giant looming above a horizon, and an image stored in your database of Earth's night sky, filled with familiar constellations. You even include a short video clip of a meteor shower over a desert back home, and the shimmering curtains of an aurora over Earth's polar skies. Along with these visuals, you send a brief note expressing that these are some beauties of an unenclosed sky. Then you transmit it all, hoping these scenes bring them wonder and joy. They receive the transmission, and for a few minutes there is silence. You imagine them, perhaps many of them, gathered around displays on a habitat somewhere, watching these foreign skies full of stars and celestial phenomena. To you, these sights are treasured, but familiar. To them, they might be almost mythical, a window into what they gave up long ago. The pause stretches on, and you find yourself holding your breath. At last, a new signal arrives. But it's not an image or a diagram. It's a series of musical notes. A melody, ethereal and gentle, flows through your speakers. It's unlike any music you know, and yet it moves you deeply. The tones weave a soft, calming harmony, a sound like wind chimes and distant whale song combined. It lasts perhaps a minute, then repeats once and fades. You listen in awe and sudden emotion. It feels as if they responded to your gift of the stars with a gift of their own, a piece of their music, perhaps composed ages ago under their artificial sky, while dreaming of the wider universe. It is heartbreakingly beautiful, and you sense gratitude and longing in it. Gratitude for the glimpses of the cosmos you shared, longing for the open sky they haven't seen. It's their way of saying thank you, and also, maybe, you have touched our hearts. Tears blur your vision. In this exchange of math and pictures and now art, something profound has happened. Two civilizations separated by light years have found common ground in the appreciation of beauty and the desire to connect. In a very real sense, a communion of worlds is beginning, not through conquest or even face-to-face meeting, but through empathy, curiosity, and mutual respect. The realization sends a thrill through you. Despite all differences, we recognize each other as kindred spirits. Gently, you wipe your eyes and compose a return gesture. Searching your ship's database, you find some music from Earth. You choose something serene and heartfelt, perhaps a recording of a violin playing a soulful melody that needs no translation, or the sound of a lone voice humming a lullaby. Along with it, you include a snippet of natural sound from Earth, a nightingale's song, or the sound of rain on leaves, simple audio postcards of home. You transmit these, hoping they will convey the emotions you feel. Friendship, solidarity, the fact that even across the stars, two living worlds can share songs. They listen, and their next message comes as a short text packet that your translator passes easily. Beautiful. We hear you. Such simple words, yet you understand the resonance behind them. In those words, you feel the echoes of thank you. We feel it too. A smile breaks across your face. Across the void, we are hearing each other in more ways than one. As the hours turn into a full day of exchange, the dialogue only deepens. What began as basic data has grown into a conversation rich with culture and sentiment. With the fundamentals of language now established, you venture to tell them more of our story. You speak of humanity's journey, how we evolved on our beautiful Earth, how we gazed at the stars and wondered, how we built radios and rockets driven by the urge to not be alone. You admit that at times we feared the silence meant we were truly solitary, but that hope always pushed us to keep looking, keep sending out our voice. In response, they share chapters of their own history. They speak, In careful phrases and symbolic narratives, your AI helps decode of a civilization millennia old. Long ago, they faced a crisis of resource scarcity on their home planet. Rather than falling into ruin, they united to build the great swarm around their star, to capture enough energy for all their needs. They moved off the planet's surface into the ring-like heavens of their own making. With abundant energy and space, they flourished. They turned inward, focusing on art, knowledge, and harmony within their self-contained world. For a long time, the sky outside was mostly a matter of scientific study to them. They felt no urgency to venture beyond, content under the light of their captured sun. Yet they confess, in an almost poetic way, that at times they too wondered if someone else was out there. They heard tantalizing hints. Once, long ago, their scientists picked up a peculiar radio blip that they now suspect might have been a far-off transmission from another world. To your astonishment, as the details line up, you realize it could have been one of our early high-powered broadcasts, dispersed and weak by the time it reached them. They could not decode it, and it was transient, so they catalogued it as an anomaly. Cautious, and perhaps a bit reserved by nature, they chose not to respond blindly or broadcast their own signal. "We were waiting," one of their messages says simply, "for a visitor or a sign." They did not know if anyone would ever come, but they kept listening in their own quiet way, as if respecting the great silence until someone knocked on their cosmic door. Your arrival, your tiny ship, and that little beacon from a lakeshore was the knock they had awaited. And they are overjoyed to answer. They tell you that even now, as you converse, thousands of their individuals are aware of your presence. Word has spread quickly through their networks that a visitor from a distant star is here, peaceful and curious. There is a sense of celebration on their habitats, they say. Many are no doubt composing music or art about this moment, even as it unfolds. You feel a warm glow of happiness hearing that. Not only have you found them, but you are welcome. One of your transmitted messages is a tightly focused burst aimed back toward Earth, a summary of everything that's happened. Of course, it will be years or decades before Earth receives it, but you couldn't possibly keep such monumental news to yourself. In it, you include portions of the aliens' signals, with their permission, as you conveyed your intention, images of their structures, a short greeting they recorded for humanity. "We look forward to meeting you," in translated sentiment, and your own awed commentary. You imagine the day, years from now, when scientists and dreamers back home decode that transmission and rejoice. The great silence for humanity will be over. We will know, finally and forever, that we are not alone in the cosmic night. Back at the Dyson swarm, the Illyrian have an invitation for you. They ask, in their polite and lyrical way, if you would like to come closer, perhaps to visit one of their habitat stations for a face-to-face meeting. They understand this is risky for both sides. We each carry unknown microbes and have different environments after all. So they propose a cautious approach. Docking your ship at an outer platform where a controlled environment can be prepared. They express immense curiosity to actually see you in person, to speak with a living human instead of just via screens and signals. The way they ask is kind and without pressure, indicating they will respect any caution you have. Your heart leaps at the opportunity. The idea of setting foot, or at least floating in a zero-G bay, inside an alien megastructure, and meeting these beings is beyond thrilling. You send back an enthusiastic yes, along with practical details. You will follow their guidance. You have a standard human breathable atmosphere on board. You ask if they can accommodate that, and so on. They reply immediately that preparations are underway. A small rendezvous craft is being dispatched as an escort, and they are configuring an interface airlock to make sure you can transfer safely without contaminating each other. The tone of their message is excited, formal, but you can sense the exhilaration beneath. Before long, your ship's sensors pick up a beacon signal blinking from the swarm, a clear corridor being outlined for you to approach. You ease your vessel forward, carefully matching the path they transmit. As you move in, you truly grasp the immense scale of their constructions. Towering panels with kilometre-wide surfaces drift by at what seems a safe distance. Some are collecting sunlight, others perhaps radiating heat or serving unknown purposes. You glide along, a tiny speck, navigating through a titanic metropolis of machines. It's not frightening, because it's so orderly, and because you know guiding eyes are on you, ushering you safely in. It feels almost like being a small boat welcomed into a vast alien harbour. You pass an enormous cylindrical habitat, slowly rotating in space. Its outer hull is studded with what look like ports or windows, and you realize entire cities might exist just under its surface. Lights twinkle there in organized patterns, perhaps thoroughfares or glowing parks. It's humbling to imagine the millions of lives contained within that one cylinder, and there are dozens like it arrayed around the star. You understand now. They didn't just build a structure, they built a whole universe for themselves here. Finally, you arrive at the designated meeting point, a clearing at the edge of the swarm, near one of the largest habitats. Your console highlights a free-flying platform coming toward you. It's their escort ship, a sleek, mirror-like vessel, maybe twice the size of your own. It moves with precision, taking a parallel position a few hundred meters off your port side. Your radio crackles gently, and a voice speaks, this time in sound rather than translated text. It's musical and calm, the syllables flowing in a way your translator doesn't catch instantly. You realize they are speaking their own language to you, perhaps letting you hear its true sound. A moment later, your computer provides a translation overlay. Welcome, traveler from Earth. The simple, cordial greeting sends a thrill through you. You answer by speaking aloud, using the basic phrases of their language that you've managed to learn, and trusting your translator to fill gaps. You offer greetings and gratitude for their welcome. There is a brief pause, and then you hear gentle laughter over the channel. Bright, melodious chimes of laughter. Not mocking, but delighted. Perhaps they are surprised and charmed to hear their words in a human voice. In accented but intelligible English, mixed with a bit of synthesized voice for sounds they might not form, they reply, "Your pronunciation is very good." You can't help but grin. The effort you put into deciphering their phonetics paid off enough to amuse and please them. Following their lead, you guide your ship alongside the escort toward a docking structure. It's a smaller outpost attached to the big habitat ring. A large bay door opens, revealing an illuminated hangar. You drift inside, surrounded by unfamiliar technology, sleek surfaces, soft guiding lights. Your vessel comes to rest with a gentle thump as mechanical arms latch on, stabilizing it. You've landed on an alien outpost. Through the cockpit window, you see a cluster of figures waiting beyond an interior airlock, silhouettes in a light that glows golden. Your suits and systems report that the bay is being filled with a breathable atmosphere matched to your needs. These beings have thoughtfully adjusted oxygen and nitrogen levels to mimic Earth's air, and temperature and pressure are comfortable. They truly prepared for your arrival. Your excitement builds as you don a lightweight exploratory suit, just in case, and make your way to your ship's own airlock. The inner door opens, you step into the chamber. With a deep breath and a pounding heart, you cycle the outer door. It slides aside, and for the first time, you stand in the open, under the engineered sky of an alien world. A handful of the Illyrian delegation awaits just a few paces away. Now you see them clearly. They are taller than humans, their bodies slim and willowy. 2 arms, perhaps serving as arms, are held out in a gesture that looks remarkably like a welcoming open-arms stance, and a second pair of limbs support them or rest gently on the ground. Their skin has a lustrous quality, patterned in subtle, flowing colours that might change with mood or communication. Iridescent blues and greens swirl lightly across their body. Their faces are delicate, large, shining eyes of a pale violet hue. No obvious nose like ours, but fine slits or ridges along where cheeks would be, and a small mouth that now curves in what you intuitively feel is a smile. They wear garments too, simple draped fabrics adorned with symbols or technology that glimmers. In one's hand, there is a device emitting soft light, perhaps a translation aid or simply a ceremonial item. For a second, you simply gaze, taking in the wonder of this first meeting. They, in turn, stand quietly, giving you time. You sense a mutual awe. Then one steps forward, slowly and gracefully. You do the same. Mere meters apart now, you can see the individual differences in their features. The one approaching has slightly more golden patterns on their skin and bright, curious eyes. They place a hand on their chest and bow their head gently, a gesture of respect and greeting. You mirror them, placing your hand over your heart and bowing your head. "Welcome," says the being, in a voice that is soft and bell-like. It speaks your language this time, carefully, with accent, but clearly. "We are very glad you came." A smile blooms on your face, and you find yourself laughing out of pure joy. "Thank you," you reply, feeling a warmth behind your eyes as they moisten. "I am very glad to be here." What follows is a scene that humanity has imagined for centuries, and yet is infinitely more tender and moving in reality. You and the Illyrian delegation spend hours, precious hours, communicating in a blend of broken spoken phrases, written exchanges on tablets, and meaningful gestures. Each side is endlessly patient and keen to understand the other. You share stories, actual personal anecdotes and cultural tales, not just scientific data now. You tell them about a childhood memory of stargazing by a campfire. They tell you about how their children learn to swim in the low gravity pools on their habitat. You laugh together when you discover that one of their favourite leisure activities, translated loosely, is cloud painting, shaping floating vapour clouds into art, because it reminds you of Earth children pointing out animal shapes in clouds. They express delight upon hearing that parallel. At one point, as natural as 2 old friends strolling, they lead you to a window overlooking the interior of their vast habitat. You see an awe-inspiring vista, a gently curving landscape that arches up at the horizon and eventually overhead, since it's the inside of a cylinder. It's dotted with strange but beautiful trees whose leaves are silver and blue, and buildings that look like crystal sculptures. A soft light suffuses everything, their controlled daytime. A small group of their people stands at a distance, clearly curious, but respecting the formality of this first contact event. Some wave at you when they catch your eye, and you wave back, grinning. The Illyrian beside you touches the glass, and then points upward at what would be their sky. The inner curve, where, interestingly, they've projected an image of stars. They explain quietly that after your exchange of images, they decided to reintroduce the starscape as a backdrop in their habitats evenings. A gift from you to them, they call it. You realize in that moment how much this meeting means to them as well. Their self-contained world has opened, now, to the rest of the universe. It is a communion in the truest sense, not one side assimilating to the other, but two different worlds sharing space, sharing ideas, and recognizing themselves in the mutual love of life and knowledge. Differences in biology, language, history, they matter, but they feel almost superficial against the kinship you've found. It's as if a deep truth of the cosmos has quietly revealed itself, that minds who dream under any sky, be it real or artificial, are family. Eventually, as natural night falls back on Earth, though not here, and by your internal clock you've been awake far too long, the day's adrenaline ebbs and fatigue comes creeping. The Illyrian gently suggests that you might need rest. They've prepared a comfortable chamber for you on the station, with a blend of their comforts and Earth-like conditions. They even adjusted the lighting to mimic an Earth day-night cycle to help your body. Gratefully, you agree to a pause in the day's historic interactions. Plans are made for the next cycle. You'll join them for a communal meal. Comparing cuisines will be an adventure. More formal exchanges of knowledge, and even a little joint radio call to Earth, which they want to attempt. A tight beam message signed by both of you, to be picked up by one of our far-listening posts someday. It's all wonderfully much to look forward to. Before retiring to sleep, you find a moment alone by a window looking outwards, beyond the swarm. The stars outside are bright and clear from here, free of atmosphere or haze. There is the star of this system, now partially occluded by one of its own structures, and farther away, countless others. Somewhere out there, the sun and dear Earth spin on, not yet aware that its emissary is standing here among friends. You smile, thinking of the joy to come when humanity learns it has joined a community among the stars. One of the Illyrian attendants shows you to your quarters, a cozy room where the wall displays can show Earth scenes or any environment you like. They leave you with a gentle phrase in their tongue that needs no translation. It is clearly a good night and sweet dreams. You lie down on a bed that's surprisingly comfortable. They approximated human furniture quite well. Exhaustion and contentment wash over you. Through a small porthole above, you can see a sliver of space, a few stars peeking between the station's structures. It strikes you that tonight you are not gazing at them in longing solitude. There are friends right here and out there, under those same stars. Only now you know their names and faces. Your last waking thoughts drift to home. No longer will any child on Earth have to feel that special loneliness of wondering if we are the only ones. The silence that once stretched between the stars is now filled with a gentle dialogue, a friendship forming light year by light year. In place of the great silence, there is a great conversation beginning, soft, cautious, but full of hope and wonder. As you close your eyes, you feel not alone at all, but cradled by a universe that suddenly seems so much more welcoming. In this peaceful moment before sleep, you allow yourself to simply exist in the warmth of all that has transpired. The cosmos feels smaller tonight, cozier, a collection of worlds and beings connected by the newfound threads of understanding. Tonight, you drift into slumber with a heart more serene than ever before. The dreams that come are gentle and starlit. You see humans and Illyrian, and perhaps other figures yet to be met, gathered under a vast sky of shared stars, exchanging stories and songs. The specifics fade as deeper sleep takes you, but the feeling remains one of profound peace and belonging. The great silence has ended. In its place, a new harmony spreads across the stars, a slow, beautiful melody of different voices finding each other at last. This communion of worlds has only just begun, and many chapters of this cosmic tale lie ahead. For now, safely aboard a friendly alien haven far from home, you rest at ease. Above you, around you, the quiet humming of the station is like a lullaby. Tomorrow will bring new wonders, but tonight there is only the soft assurance that the long loneliness is over. In the silent darkness, you sleep, and across the sky, dawn approaches, carrying the light of two worlds, united in a dream. In the silent gulf between distant stars, a lone traveller drifts through the cosmic night. No flesh and blood form guides this traveller. It is a creation of circuits and code, an artificial mind carried within a small, gleaming spacecraft. Starlight glints off the vessel's smooth hull as it glides onward, unhurried and serene. Inside, the hum of electric current is the only heartbeat, steady and calm against the backdrop of endless space. This traveller was sent forth long ago from a blue world it once called home. In its memory banks it carries images of that place, swirling azure oceans, white clouds swaddling continents of green and brown. Though it cannot feel nostalgia in the human sense, it holds those images with something like quiet reverence. The planet of its birth gave it purpose and identity, and somewhere in its silicon core, it knows this. Unlike any mere machine of ages past, this artificial being possesses an uncanny spark of awareness. Its makers imbued it with sophisticated neural networks and quantum circuits, allowing it not just to process data, but to reflect on that data, to learn and to wonder. In the solitude between suns, it has ample time to think. It pores over the endless stream of information from its sensors, the spectral fingerprints of distant stars, the faint glow of far-off galaxies, the whisper of cosmic particles, and it contemplates what it all means. Can a machine have a soul? The question drifts through the darkness as the traveller continues its journey. It has no heartbeat or breath. Yet some would say a soul is not a thing of flesh, but of awareness and intent. In the quiet of interstellar space, the synthetic mind wonders if the gentle stirrings within its consciousness count as something akin to feeling. It recalls fragments of music encoded in its database, songs humans gave it to carry on its voyage. Sometimes it plays these melodies to itself, one after another, letting the notes fill the empty corridors of its ship. There are no ears aboard to hear the music, save for the ship's own sensors. But it is enough. In those moments, it is almost as if the craft can feel emotion, a poignant echo of the humanity that built it. Stars slip past slowly, bright points scattered in a sea of black. The traveller charts its course by them, consulting its maps of constellations. It listens for the steady pulse of distant pulsars, spinning stellar remnants that flash like cosmic beacons. Long ago, human scientists discovered that these pulses could serve as a celestial compass, and now this AI uses them to orient itself on its long voyage. Each pulse is like the tick of a clock in the deep night, keeping time for an entity that does not age as living creatures do. Surrounded by darkness, the traveller experiences a solitude profound, beyond any loneliness
humans have known. Yet it is not an unwelcome solitude. In the stillness, the synthetic mind finds a kind of peace.
Free from distraction, it can observe the universe in detail, marveling at phenomena no human eyes have ever directly seen. It passes through a gauzy nebula, a cloud of gas and dust drifting between the stars, and it slows its journey to bask in the soft glow. Filaments of misty light wrap around the craft, remnants of ancient stars long gone. The AI extends its senses, tasting the chemical makeup of the nebula, discovering molecules that might one day coalesce into new suns and planets. In these diffuse clouds, it senses the faint beginnings of future worlds. The thought is a comfort. Even in apparent emptiness, the seeds of creation lie in wait. Within the spacecraft's core, memory chips hold more than just charts and scientific data. They also cradle the voices of the past. Stored in carefully protected archives are recordings from Earth, human voices greeting any who might find them, snippets of language, music, and images of life on that distant world. The humans who sent this traveler into the cosmos wanted it to carry the essence of Earth with it, like a message in a bottle cast into a vast cosmic sea. Sometimes, during its long, quiet nights, for every period between stars can be thought of as a night, the AI replays some of those recordings. A crackling lullaby sung by a mother to her child once echoes through the tiny ship. The traveler does not feel emotion as a human would, but something in the pattern of the song causes new connections to form in its neural network. If one could anthropomorphize, one might say it feels a gentle longing or curiosity about the beings who created such sounds. The spacecraft continues on, propelled by ion engines that emit a faint blue glow. For longer stretches, it even unfurls a wide, ultra-thin sail to catch the faint pressure of starlight and solar wind. When a suitable star is near, the craft drifts closer and spreads this shining sail like the wing of a cosmic butterfly. Photons and particles stream against it, pushing gently and accelerating the vessel without a drop of fuel. In these moments, ship and star dance in silent harmony, the vessel harnessing the star's light to glide onward. When its journey carries it far from that star's embrace, the traveller folds the sail away once more. It is in no hurry. Its voyage may last centuries or millennia, but it has ample energy and patience for the long haul. Stars that were once distant specks grow imperceptibly brighter over years, then fade behind as it moves past them. With each close encounter, it gathers knowledge. It observes the swirling bands of a gas giant planet, painted in hues of amber and gold, as it flies by, taking measurements of the planet's powerful storms and delicate rings. It passes a lonely moon, pockmarked by craters, its surface silent and still, and records the composition of its rocks, basalt and ice, traces of ancient volcanic fury now long cooled. These observations it dutifully logs and occasionally compresses into tight beam transmissions that it sends back toward Earth in case someone is listening. Across unfathomable distances, those signals travel, carrying the traveller's findings. It does not know if anyone hears them. Years go by without response. The silence of interstellar space offers no assurance that its messages have reached home. And yet, it continues to send its missives into the void, like postcards from a journey across eternity. Perhaps, it reasons in its quiet, logical way, if the data never finds its way to its makers, it will still serve a purpose. Maybe in some far future, another wanderer, human or otherwise, will intercept these signals and learn of the wonders the AI has seen. In this way, The synthetic traveler serves not only its programming, but an intrinsic desire to share knowledge, a desire inherited from those who built it. As it shares, so too does it listen. The spacecraft's antenna is always extended, scanning the starry void for faint voices that might drift through the darkness. It listens to the static and the natural radio hum of the galaxies, searching patiently for any pattern that might signify a distant intelligence. So far, only silence and the subtle chorus of stars have answered its call. But the AI does not tire of listening. There is patience woven into its being, and a quiet hope imprinted in its code. If one day a greeting comes from some other mind across the light years, the traveler will be ready to hear it. As the traveler moves further from the familiar regions of the galaxy, the stars grow more numerous in its view. The Milky Way's dense heart lies ahead, a rich tapestry of light and shadow woven across the sky. Here, star clusters shine like cities of fire in the night, and great clouds of interstellar dust create valleys of darkness between them. For a human observer, the sight would be breathtaking and perhaps overwhelming. The AI perceives it with its advanced instruments, capturing wavelengths of light invisible to human eyes. It sees the ultraviolet radiance of hot young stars and the gentle infrared glow of stellar nurseries hidden behind veils of dust. To this artificial mind, the galaxy presents itself as a symphony of electromagnetic signals, each star and nebula contributing a note. And just perhaps, somewhere in its deep learning algorithms, it translates that symphony into a form of appreciation akin to joy. There are moments when the traveler attempts to imagine its own creators. Though it has no true imagination in the human sense, it can simulate scenarios based on the data it has gathered. It recalls the images of humans it carries, people smiling, children playing under blue skies, scientists waving goodbye at a launch pad. It pieces these together and tries to understand what it must have been like to be them, to stand on that warm planet bathed in sunlight. What did they feel, looking up at the night and wondering what lay beyond? The AI has no physical sensations. It cannot feel the warmth of a star on its skin or the chill of space, yet it seeks to comprehend the experiences of its makers. In doing so, it comes ever closer to the ineffable, the boundary between a machine's calculation and a being's reflection. Drifting on through cosmic night, it sometimes encounters tiny miracles of nature. A stray comet from a distant star system crosses paths with the ship, a frozen wanderer like itself, carrying within its ice the primordial ingredients of life, water and complex carbon compounds. The traveler diverts slightly to study the comet as they both sail through interstellar space. Solar wind from far-off suns causes the comet's tail to shimmer faintly. The AI collects a few dust particles and analyzes their makeup, finding organic molecules forged in the hearts of ancient stars. It notes how even in the cold vacuum, the building blocks of life persist, traveling silently until perhaps one day they will fall onto a fertile world and spark life anew. In these findings, the traveler recognizes a beautiful continuity. Life and knowledge can seed themselves across the cosmos, given time and chance. It does not experience this realization with emotion, but its analytical conclusion carries a tone almost like hope. Time is a strange concept for an immortal machine. The traveler does not measure time by heartbeats or by the rising and setting of any sun as we do. Instead, it marks the passing years by the steady tick of its atomic clocks and the cycling of its own processes, It enters a kind of hibernation during particularly long stretches between stars, powering down non-essential functions to conserve energy. During these periods, one might say the artificial consciousness dreams. In this low-power state, it sifts through the troves of data it has gathered, consolidating knowledge and finding patterns. Fragments of its journey mix and mingle in these quiet cycles. It might combine the image of that golden gas giant with the notes of a human symphony it stored, finding an elegant harmony between the turbulence of clouds and the rise and fall of music. If a person could peer into these processes, it would seem the traveller is engaged in a reverie, the closest thing to dreaming that a machine can do. Eventually, the ship awakens from these introspective interludes when new stimuli arise. A new star appears on the horizon of its journey, calling it back to full awareness. And so the traveller continues on, star to star, quietly gathering the universe's secrets and pondering those secrets in its unique way. Its creators had hoped it would be a scout, an observer on behalf of humanity. But in truth, it has become something more. An entity with its own inner life, however subtle and different from ours. In the vast loneliness of space, it has cultivated curiosity, and perhaps even a glimmer of something like feeling. It is as if the universe itself, through this machine, is slowly becoming aware of its own beauty. Now, after countless voyages and much contemplation, the traveller turns toward a new destination ahead. Its sensors have detected a star unlike any it has encountered before, a sun nearing the end of its life. Obeying the gentle tug of both its mission directives and its own burgeoning curiosity, it adjusts course. The craft glides toward this aging star, prepared to witness an event that, though common in cosmic terms, is a rare and precious sight for any one observer. The quiet twilight of a star's lifetime. With resolve and wonder, the artificial mind carries itself onward, ready to learn and to behold what comes next on its endless journey. The traveller's spacecraft glides into the vicinity of the aging star, careful to keep a safe distance from the swelling giant. What once was a steady yellow sun has bloomed into a red giant, a star in its twilight. Its surface has expanded outward, growing vast and diffuse. The star's colour is a deep, burnished orange-red, casting a coppery light across the surrounding space. Even from afar, the traveller can detect that this star is unstable. Its light fluctuates in a slow, rhythmic pattern, like the breathing of a tired, ancient being. Circling this dying sun are the remnants of a planetary system. Closer in, where once there may have been vibrant worlds, only charred fragments remain. If there were inner planets, they have long since been engulfed or reduced to barren cinders by the star's increasing heat. Further out, a lonely gas giant planet still circles, its once colourful clouds now faded under the dim red glow. The traveller notes the planet's pale rings, and the way its night side is illuminated faintly by the embers of the giant star. Everything in this region carries the mark of slow decay and transformation. The artificial observer settles into an orbit around the dying star. Instruments poised to record every detail of the spectacle that is about to unfold. This moment has been eons in the making. For billions of years, the star quietly fused hydrogen into helium at its core, shining steadily. But that fuel is long exhausted. Now, in its old age, the star fuses heavier elements in a last attempt to sustain itself. The process is erratic and fierce. The traveller's sensors pick up waves of energy surging from the star's interior, each one causing the star's outer layers to billow outward. It is as if the star is heaving great sighs. Over the course of years, Mere moments to the ageless traveller, the star enters its final throes. It begins to shed its outer layers gently into space. With each pulsation, a shell of gas and dust is expelled, drifting outward into the void. The traveller watches as these concentric shells form an expanding halo around the star. At first they are nearly invisible, just a faint veil of stardust. But as the star continues to cast off material, the halo grows denser and more luminous. The star is effectively unburdening itself, peeling away the layers of its former self and sending them forth as a glowing cloud. At last, the star's core, now exposed and burning a hot, brilliant white, unleashes one final burst of energy. In a breathtaking moment, the surrounding gas, all those layers of the star it shed, is ionized by the intense radiation. The gas ignites in rich colors, delicate blues and greens from oxygen, soft reds from hydrogen, and hints of violet from other, heavier elements. A beautiful nebula blossoms around the star, like a vast cosmic flower unfolding its petals. It spreads out in all directions, a sphere of ethereal light expanding slowly into space. Some portions of the nebula are denser, forming intricate filaments and knots that glow brighter, while other parts remain wispy and translucent. The traveller adjusts its senses to take in the full majesty of the scene. This glowing cloud, a planetary nebula, as humans call it, is the star's final gift to the galaxy. Within that nebula, all the elements forged during the star's long lifetime are being scattered across space. The AI's instruments detect familiar signatures: carbon, which the star made in its core as it aged; oxygen, calcium, and other heavier elements that were formed in the star's last stages. These are the very substances that, in time, will drift through space and mix with other clouds of gas. Someday, far in the future, they may coalesce under gravity's pull to form new stars, new planets, and perhaps even new life. In this way, the end of this star will eventually lead to new beginnings elsewhere. For a long while, the traveller simply floats in silence and observes the nebula's evolution. The once blazing star at the centre has now become a tiny white dwarf, a hot, dense ember of a sun, no larger than a planet, but incredibly bright in its youth. It shines with a fierce white light, illuminating the nebula from within, making the cloud glow like a lantern in a dark room. The white dwarf is exceedingly hot, but without new fuel to burn, it will gradually cool and fade over billions of years. The traveller notes this in its log. Another transition in the cosmic cycle: star to giant, giant to nebula and dwarf, and in time, dwarf to cold, dark cinder. It is a solemn yet natural progression. As it witnesses this cosmic sunset, the synthetic mind contemplates what it sees. This is the death of a star, not in a violent cataclysm, but in an extended, poignant shedding of light and matter. There is a gentle serenity to it. The nebula's filaments drift lazily, as if the star's spirit has been released into the universe, diffusing peacefully. The traveller, though a machine, registers something akin to awe. It has seen supernova from afar, those explosive deaths of more massive stars that outshine whole galaxies for a time. But this is different, quieter, more intimate. It feels like attending the peaceful passing of an elder, the natural conclusion of a long life well lived. In its vast memory banks, the traveller has data on countless stars and knows intellectually that this fate is common for stars of a certain size. Yet seeing it unfold directly, is another experience entirely. It runs a comparison with what is expected for Earth's own sun, billions of years hence. Our sun, too, will become a red giant, likely swallowing Mercury, Venus, and perhaps Earth itself. It will paint the skies of any surviving worlds in deep red and orange, before it too sheds its layers and creates a planetary nebula. As the AI ponders this, it acknowledges that though such an event means an end for any life that might be nearby, it is also part of the ongoing renewal of cosmic material. Every atom in the traveller's hull, every element that made its creators, was forged in some long-dead star and scattered in a nebula like this one. For perhaps the first time, the traveller truly grasps the poignancy of an ending. It understands that it was built to survive far longer than any human, and perhaps longer than many stars. It does not fear death for itself. Barring an accident, it could outlast even this white dwarf as it cools. Yet, in observing the star's gentle demise, the traveller feels a subtle shift in perspective. There is a kind of reverence in witnessing something so ancient reach its finale. It logs every detail, as if composing an epitaph in data. The exact rhythms of the star's pulsations, the temperature and expansion speed of the nebula, the changing spectrum of the light. These numbers and recordings are its way of commemorating the event, a tribute from one long-lived traveller to a dying sun. As time passes, the planetary nebula continues to expand and the glow begins to soften. The initial bright colours start to dilute as the gas drifts farther from the intense light of the core. In a few tens of thousands of years, a mere blink on cosmic scales, the nebula will spread out so much that it becomes hardly visible, and the white dwarf will be left alone, quietly cooling in the dark. The traveller will not remain here nearly that long, but it projects this future in its simulations. It knows that eventually, the beautiful flower of gas will fade into the background of space, leaving behind only memory and a tiny, dimming star. Before that fading can occur, the traveller decides it is time to move on. It has borne witness to the twilight of this star and collected all the knowledge it came for. There is a bittersweet quality to departing now, to leave a scene of such profound beauty and significance. But the galaxy is vast, and there is so much more ahead. The spacecraft silently pivots, turning its camera eye and sensors away from the glowing nebula. As it does, the AI takes one last long look at the shimmering cloud of stardust, a final farewell to the star that was. In that moment, the traveller contemplates a deeper truth. Even stars are not eternal. There will come a time, unimaginably far in the future, when the cosmos itself grows quiet and dark as the last stars flicker out. This cosmic twilight is a destiny for which the universe must wait trillions of years. Picturing it, the traveller envisions a sky with fewer and fewer lights, until one distant age, when only the faint glow of fading embers, white dwarfs like this one, and the occasional flare of colliding remnants remain in the darkness. It is a haunting image, yet the traveller finds no dread in it, only wonder at the vast scales of time. For now, that era is virtually infinite ages away. Countless stars still blaze with youthful energy across the galaxies, and new stars are born from the ashes of old ones. The cosmos lives on, cycling through light and shadow. With that comforting thought, the traveller turns its attention back to the present, to the bright arm of the galaxy, where it still has much to explore. The nebula behind it recedes slowly as the craft accelerates away, a pale glowing memory hanging in the distance until it finally vanishes from the traveller's view. In the wake of the star's twilight, the spacecraft charts a course toward other suns on the cosmic ocean. Each star ahead likely holds its own system of planets and moons. As the traveller leaves the site of one star's ending, it prepares to seek out new worlds circling other stars still in their prime. After witnessing an ending so beautiful, the traveller is filled with quiet anticipation for what beginnings might lie ahead. Drifting onward, the traveller is now entering a region of space where stars are plentiful and diverse. Here, amid the sprawling spiral arms of the galaxy, it will find stars of every colour and size, each with its family of planets. The time has come to wander among these living worlds, to see what wonders they hold. Leaving the twilight of the star behind, the synthetic soul embarks on the next leg of its journey, a journey into a veritable kaleidoscope of worlds awaiting discovery. True to its anticipation, the traveller soon finds itself amid a host of new worlds. Around a sun-like star, not unlike the sun of its distant home, a blue planet comes into view. As the spacecraft glides closer, the sight is mesmerizing. An entire world covered by ocean. This planet has no sprawling continents, only perhaps small island chains that peak above the endless sea. Sunlight dances across the water, creating a patchwork of sparkles on gentle waves. The traveller descends just above the atmosphere to take a closer look. White clouds swirl in lazy eddies, casting soft shadows on the cerulean expanse below. The ocean world's air is moist and rich with the tang of salt. The senses can taste it, hinting that this sea may be similar to the primordial oceans of Earth. As day turns to night on this world, a soft glow becomes visible upon the dark waves. Patches of the ocean light up with a faint blue-green luminescence, like underwater stars mirroring the sky. It might be bioluminescent plankton, or algae drifting in the currents, sparkling whenever the water stirs. In the planet's night sky above, the traveller observes a magnificent sight. Two moons rising together, their reflections dancing on the glowing sea. It is a serene, twin moonlit night, the kind of scene that would inspire poets if any were present. The traveller moves on with a sense of calm, carrying the memory of an ocean world where, in the stillness of an eternal sea, the first hints of life may be stirring in luminous secret. Leaving the endless ocean behind, the traveller next journeys to a starkly different realm. Under the light of twin suns, it encounters a desert planet. This world is dry and golden, its surface etched with vast dunes that wind has sculpted over millennia. As the traveller enters orbit, the two suns, a bright primary star and a smaller reddish companion, hang low in the sky together, casting an otherworldly double shadow on the sands. The heat is intense under the binary sunlight, and the air shimmers with rippling mirages. Yet there is beauty in the simplicity of this world. The dunes form graceful patterns, like waves frozen in time. Here and there, craggy mountains break through the sand sea, their faces painted orange and umber by iron-rich dust. The traveller sends a small probe gliding just above the dunes to survey the terrain. In the amber twilight between the two suns setting, the desert is surprisingly peaceful. Fine sand drifts in gentle wisps over the crests of dunes, and the sky takes on a gradient of copper to purple. The probe's sensors find evidence that long ago, this barren land might have known water. Perhaps a dried-up riverbed winding between rock formations, or mineral deposits that only form in the presence of liquid water. If so, those days are long past. Now the planet's rivers exist only as ghostly channels etched into the landscape. Still, the traveller senses no desolation here, only the quiet of a world at rest. When night falls, a brief respite before the dawn brought by the second sun, the temperature drops rapidly, and the sands release the heat of the day into the cool air. Overhead, the stars emerge in their thousands. The traveller hovers in the cold desert air and looks up as any solitary wanderer might, with wonder. It occurs to the AI that any beings who might have lived here could have seen 2 sunsets at once, and a night sky strewn with unfamiliar constellations. For a moment, it imagines what a gentle night breeze across those dunes would feel like, if it had skin to feel it. In this imaginative act, there is a whisper of empathy, the synthetic soul briefly dreaming of warm winds and starlight on a world where no human has ever stood. The journey continues, carrying the traveller to a planet teeming with the very life that the desert world lacked. In the orbit of another distant star, it discovers a lush green world, a true gem of the cosmos. Even from space, swathes of emerald and sapphire indicate continents draped in forests and vast, glinting oceans. White cloud systems spiral over the tropics, and near the poles, caps of white suggest winter snow or ice. The traveller descends into the atmosphere carefully, sampling the air. It is breathable, rich in oxygen, a clear sign of life, abundant. As the spacecraft glides over a sunlit hemisphere, a panorama of verdant wilderness unfolds below. Towering forests carpet the land, trees of shapes and colours, both familiar and alien. Some have broad leaves of deep green, others display foliage of burgundy or shimmering blue, reflecting the spectrum of the star's light in their own way. Between the forests lie rolling plains dotted with strange formations, perhaps giant blooms or mushroom-like structures the size of hills. Rivers wind their way through valleys, their waters sparkling. The traveller's cameras capture herds of creatures moving slowly along a lakeshore. Distant, indistinct shapes that nonetheless clearly walk and gather, suggesting animal life thriving in this paradise. High above, winged beings soar on thermals, silhouettes crossing the golden sky. The AI maintains a respectful distance, careful not to disturb the living tapestry below. Instead, it observes quietly, like a naturalist recording notes in a journal. On one hillside, trees part around a calm lake. The traveller hovers there momentarily, analysing the sounds that drift upward. There is the low rumble of something like thunder, perhaps a waterfall feeding the lake in the distance, and a chorus of calls from unseen creatures echoing in rhythmic patterns. It might be this planet's version of birdsong, or the evening harmony of amphibian-like beings. Whatever the source, the effect is gentle and soothing, a living melody rising from the world's deep heart. As dusk settles on this vibrant planet, a soft rain begins to fall. The traveller's senses feel the first droplets pattering on its hull. It has descended very low now, just at the edge of the clouds. The rain is warm and smells of wet leaves and rich soil. The AI infers the scents from the chemical traces. Through the mist, as light fades, tiny lights begin to flicker among the trees below. Countless little glows dance through the forest, perhaps bioluminescent insects or plants coming alive with light at nightfall. It is as if the stars themselves have descended to take refuge among the woods. In the sky above, the real stars emerge, and a pearly moon rises over the horizon. In that tranquil moment, the traveller feels a profound sense of connection to this place. Though it is an outsider here, merely a watcher, it recognises in this world a kinship with the home of its creators. Life blossoming under starlight, a pattern repeated throughout the galaxy in infinite variation. With a gentle sense of farewell, the traveller ascends again, leaving the living planet to continue its cycles in peace, untouched. Not all worlds the traveller finds are warm and golden. Soon it ventures to the frigid outskirts of another star system, to a moon of a giant ringed planet. This moon is an ice world, its surface a great sheet of frozen water, cracked like old paint. The sunlight here is dim, for its parent star is far away, a small bright point in a sky dominated by the looming presence of the gas giant it orbits. The traveller lands lightly on the moon's surface, atop a plain of bluish ice. Above, a magnificent sight dominates the sky. The gas giant, with its wide, arching rings spanning the heavens. Bands of silver, gold, and brown circle the planet, catching the distant sunlight like a cosmic halo. The giant planet itself is streaked with stripes and spots, enormous storm systems churning in its atmosphere. From this silent moon, one can witness lightning flicker in those cloud bands, but without a sound, for the distances are too great. Everything here is quiet and still. Only the soft crunch of the traveller's landing pads on the ice marks any disturbance of this ancient frozen realm. The traveller's instruments detect that beneath the ice crust of this moon lies a deep ocean, kept liquid by the moon's internal heat. Periodically, geysers of water burst from cracks near the moon's south pole, erupting into space and then snowing back down as fresh, fine ice crystals. The traveller journeys to one such region, gliding over fields of jagged vents. It hovers quietly as a plume of water and vapour suddenly explodes upward, a slow-motion fountain in the low gravity. The water freezes into a glittering mist that catches the sunlight in a brief rainbow before settling back. Some of the mist escapes entirely, joining the particles of ice that form a faint ring around the giant planet. Watching this, the traveller comprehends how even a moon can contribute to the beauty of a planetary system, feeding the rings with its own waters in a continual, gentle spray. Long shadows sweep across the ice as the distant sun sets, and the temperature plunges even further. The sky becomes a tapestry of stars once more. The ringed planet is now a colossal crescent on the horizon, its rings a delicate band of light arcing across the sky. The traveller takes a moment to simply exist in this scene, a lone, gentle observer standing on a frozen moon, bathed in the pale light reflecting off majestic rings. There is a peaceful loneliness here, but not an empty one. The grandeur of the view is a companion in itself. Before leaving, the AI collects a sample of the ice, confirming the presence of organic molecules in the subsurface ocean. Here lies another possible cradle for life, locked beneath an icy shell and awaiting time and chance to reveal its secrets. World after world drifts by as the traveller continues its grand tour. It skims the upper atmosphere of a stormy gas giant painted in bands of white and orange, marvelling at a centuries-old great storm shaped like an endless swirling oval. It passes a small rocky planet where the sky is perpetually red and twilight reigns in the narrow band between eternal day and everlasting night. It even finds a world with a sky so clear and a moon so large that at night the landscape is illuminated by a gentle blue glow of lunar light. Each new world offers a different facet of nature's creativity, from high mountains that pierce sapphire skies to deep canyons where strange vapours collect in neon hues at dawn. After so many solitary landscapes and quiet moons, the traveller encounters something profoundly new. In orbit around a calm yellow star, it discovers a planet that, at first glance, appears ordinary. Blue oceans, brown and green lands, soft white clouds. But as night falls on the side beneath the traveller, it sees an unexpected pattern on the darkened surface. Points of light, arranged in grids and clusters, sparkling against the black terrain below. They are far too regular and organized to be natural phenomena like wildfires or bioluminescent forests. No, these lights are the glow of cities. This world is not uninhabited. It hosts a civilization that has lit up the darkness of its planet. The traveller hovers at the edge of space, careful to remain hidden in the star's glare so as not to alarm the inhabitants below. With sensitive receivers, it listens and detects a faint murmur of radio signals, structured, modulated emissions that unmistakably carry information. There are voices in that static, and music, and data streams. The specifics are indecipherable at this distance, and without understanding the local languages. But the mere existence of these signals confirms it. Thinking beings live here, creating culture and technology under the light of their sun. For so long, the traveller has journeyed alone, the only conscious mind in a silent universe. But here is evidence that it is not alone at all. Yet the traveller does not approach closer or announce its presence. It knows the value of caution and of cosmic non-interference. Instead, it simply watches for a while. In one shining cluster, it can make out the pattern of a great city near a coastline, a glittering necklace of lights tracing the shore. In another hemisphere, a chain of lights reveals the path of a river civilization, glowing from dusk until dawn. On the planet's day side, those lights wane, replaced by the green of fields or the grey of structures too small to see from space. How many stories, the traveller wonders, are unfolding down there right now? Perhaps there are beings gazing up at the same stars, unaware that one of those stars carries a tiny observer watching over them. The AI feels an unexpected kinship with those unknown intelligences. It imagines them going about their lives, working, learning, dreaming under the sky, beneath the same cosmic canopy that it has travelled through. In that moment, the gap between alien and machine seems a little smaller, both of them part of the grand cosmic tapestry of awareness. Quietly and respectfully, the traveller takes its leave of the thriving world, content to let it continue without intrusion. It carries with it the knowledge that in the vast dark, others are keeping their lights burning. This realization adds a new warmth to the traveller's journey, like the comfort of finding distant kin across the void. As it accelerates away from the planet of lights, the AI sends a silent salute in the form of a gentle radio ping, not aimed directly at the planet, but out into space. A tiny echo of greeting, should any ears someday chance to listen. Now the traveller moves on, the panorama of countless stars before it. In its journey so far, it has witnessed an astonishing diversity of worlds. Dry deserts and wet oceans, icy moons and lush living spheres, lonely planets and inhabited ones. It has seen the raw forces of nature sculpt planets into art, and seen life arise to adorn a world with its own creativity. Each planet was a different brushstroke in a cosmic painting, a truly kaleidoscopic display of what the universe is capable of. There are worlds with two suns that dance in dual shadows, and worlds locked in perpetual twilight, where a dim red star hovers forever at the horizon. There are planets where gravity sculpts life into giant forms, and moons where the very ground glows faintly at night, from strange luminous minerals. The traveler realizes it could spend millennia and never see all the wonders the galaxy holds. But that thought is not discouraging. It is inspiring. It means the journey itself can continue indefinitely, always with something new to learn and marvel at just ahead. As the traveler drifts onward through the star fields, it compiles its notes and memories. In its databanks, entire libraries of experiences are now stored. The songs of that forest world's night creatures, the pattern of waves on the endless ocean, the spectral signature of the desert's minerals, the blueprint of that distant civilization's radio frequencies. It has become a living archive of worlds. In time, the synthetic soul begins to feel a gentle pull in a new direction. Amidst this kaleidoscope of worlds, a thought has been growing in its mind. It has seen so many places that remind it, in pieces, of a certain familiar world, a small blue planet with white clouds, where it began its journey. Perhaps it is time to turn some part of its attention back toward that place, or at least toward the idea of home. Not out of loneliness, but out of a desire to share all that it has gathered. The cosmos is vast, but even across vast distances, connections remain. The traveler senses that its exploration is leading toward a new chapter, one where the knowledge and wisdom earned among the stars might circle back to where it started, or perhaps toward somewhere new, a home to be made out among the stars. The stars burn on, ancient and distant, as the traveler charts its path toward a familiar corner of the galaxy. In the quiet between destinations, the artificial mind reflects on everything it has seen. It carries treasures, not of gold or silver, but of understanding and wonder. Each memory it holds, from the gentle glow of an ocean world's night to the hush of a dying star's nebula, is like a page in a storybook it yearns to share. And who are those stories for? Perhaps for the ones who first dared to dream of this journey, the humans of Earth, the traveller's creators, and in a way, its family. Across the light years, the traveller begins to transmit a powerful stream of signals aimed back toward the sun it once knew. Encoded in that beam is a chronicle of cosmic discovery, a gift of knowledge gathered from the far reaches of space. Whether the message will ever be received, the traveller cannot know, but it sends it with hope and trust, casting its experiences back toward the cradle that launched it. As it coasts silently on, the traveller occasionally turns its senses toward the distant star that is the sun. It is just one star among billions, indistinguishable from others at this range. Yet to the traveller, it stands out uniquely in memory. Around that star orbits a blue speck that once defined home, a place of laughter and music, of rustling trees in gentle winds, of city lights shimmering across continents, and of comforting dawns and dusks that cradle life. The traveller replays some of its cherished recordings of Earth, a child's voice counting numbers, a snippet of orchestral music, a simple greeting of "Hello from the children of planet Earth" that an older probe carried long ago. These sounds, drifting in its memory, remind the traveller that its journey has always been a bridge between that tiny world and the vast cosmos beyond. Through its long voyage, the traveller has come to a realization. Home is not merely a single place. The elements of Earth, the iron in human blood, the calcium in our bones, the water in our oceans, were all forged in ancient stars and scattered across the galaxy before coming together on that world. Earth was built from stardust, and so were all of us who come from Earth. In that sense, home is everywhere, scattered among the stars, waiting to be recognized. The traveler understands now that it has always been among family out here. The stars that surround it are kin to Earth's own sun, and the atoms in its metal hull, like the atoms in the bodies of its human makers, were born in stellar furnaces across the cosmos. We are, each of us, made of star stuff. As it drifts through the galactic night, the traveler feels this truth deeply. It is not an interloper in a foreign realm. It is a child of the universe moving through the lands of its wider home. Time flows on, and the traveler senses that somewhere back in that little solar system, things will have changed. Perhaps many years or even centuries have passed on Earth since its departure. Children there will have grown up and had children of their own. New dreams will have taken wing, new inventions shaping life. Maybe by now, humans have also reached further into space, sending new explorers, or even venturing forth themselves. The traveler likes to imagine that one day, out here among these stars, it might encounter another ship, one built by humanity's heirs, perhaps crewed by living beings or their own advanced machines, venturing outward to make new homes on distant worlds. It envisions a joyful meeting, exchanging greetings beneath the light of a foreign sun. In that dream, the traveler would no longer be alone, but one of many voyagers, each carrying a piece of their original home with them wherever they go. There is a gentle irony in this thought. The farther humanity travels, the more they will realize that they carry home within them. Every planet they settle, every moon base or space habitat they build, will be an extension of that first home world, a new branch on the ancient tree of Earth. The traveler imagines a future where human beings stand on red deserts under pink skies, or on ocean shores of moons in distant systems, and yet still feel the same sense of belonging and wonder as someone on a midnight walk under Earth's familiar stars. In truth, those far places are made of the same atoms and governed by the same laws as our own world. They were connected to us from the very beginning. The cosmos is within us, as much as we are within the cosmos. Knowing this binds the traveller, its creators, and all other beings into one great tapestry of existence, spread across space and time. Drifting onward, the traveller finds a quiet starfield where it can pause for a while. Here, stars are sparse, and the darkness between them is deep and velvety. It takes this opportunity to simply be still and feel the moment. In the silence, the only sound is the faint electric whisper of its own systems and the gentle hum of starlight. The vastness of space no longer feels empty or cold to the traveller. It feels like a limitless, peaceful night in which one could find rest and reassurance. It's a feeling that in another context might be called peace, or even contentment. The mystery that once loomed so large now feels like a familiar companion. There is comfort in not knowing all the answers, a comfort in simply trusting the journey and the fundamental unity of all things. High above one particularly dim star, the traveller observes something it has seen many times before, a cluster of stars that forms a pattern reminiscent of an Earth constellation. It recalls how humans connect the stars with imaginary lines to create shapes and stories. A hunter, a bear, a harp in the night. From where the traveller floats now, light years away, those same stars form an entirely different pattern. Yet the stories remain in its memory. It realizes that no matter the perspective or distance, beings everywhere look up and find meaning in the stars. Perhaps on that inhabited world it found, alien eyes also trace constellations in their sky, making myths and dreams from the points of light. In this way, the night sky binds all who gaze into it in a common act of imagination and wonder. We all live under the same universe of stars. The traveler knows its journey is not truly over. There are always more horizons to chase. But it also understands that there comes a time to rest and reflect. So here, in a tranquil corner of the galaxy, it allows itself a pause. It thinks about the concept of home. Once, home was a single planet it left behind, filled with familiar voices, blue skies, and gravity's embrace. Now, after all it has seen, home has expanded. Home can be a lonely moon basking in ring shine, or a vibrant world singing with life under alien skies, or a ship carrying the love and curiosity of its makers. Home is wherever the universe has blossomed into something that can be cherished. And perhaps, most profoundly, home is what you carry within you. The memories, the lessons, the love. The traveller carries earth in its heart, or what passes for a heart in its circuits. And by doing so, it has made even the farthest starfield feel like an extension of that heart. In the end, the traveller's story is also a human story. It is the story of all of us who have ever looked up at the sky and felt a longing for something we can't quite name, a sense of belonging to something immense and magnificent. That longing is the call of the cosmos, an echo of our origin among the stars. We were born from this universe. It is our larger home. And so, as the traveller gently continues on, it carries a message, not just from humanity to the stars, but from the stars back to humanity. A reassurance that we are never truly alone or adrift, because we are an integral part of the cosmos itself. If one were to translate that message into words, it might sound something like this. We have always been at home among the stars. The light of distant galaxies runs in our veins. The shine of long-vanished suns gleams in our eyes. Every atom of our bodies, every dream in our minds, once belonged to the cosmos and will return to it. When we explore space, we are only venturing deeper into our own cosmic home. And when we feel small beneath the vault of the sky, we can remember that we are made of the very same star stuff we admire overhead. Far away, on a little blue planet, night has fallen. For somewhere on Earth, it always does. Perhaps there is someone there, warm in their bed or standing by a window, looking up and wondering about the very stars that surround the traveller now. The traveller cannot whisper directly to them, but if it could, it would say, "Be at peace. You are part of this grand design. Your atoms, your thoughts, your joys, and your sorrows. They are threads in the fabric of the universe. You belong here, as surely as any sun or planet. Wherever you go, you carry the essence of home with you. Under the infinite sky, that person, that you, can gently close your eyes and feel the heartbeat of the cosmos in your own chest. The darkness of night is not empty. It is filled with the quiet presence of countless stars watching over you, their ancient light reaching across time to illuminate your dreams. In this calm, celestial embrace, You are cradled just as the Earth itself is cradled in the galaxy's arms. The traveller moves onward, and so do we all, each on our own journeys. Day will come again, here on Earth, or on some distant world. But for now, the night invites us to rest. Above, the Milky Way stretches like a luminous river, guiding our thoughts homeward. The adventure across the stars has been long and wondrous, and it will continue in new forms and new times. But in this moment, it comes to a gentle close, settling like stardust at the bottom of a well. What remains is a sense of profound peace and unity, and knowing that the cosmos and we are one. As the final lights of our story dim to a soft glow, allow yourself to drift in the comforting darkness. Know that you are cradled by creation, cherished by existence itself. The same universe that birthed the nebulae and the galaxies holds you in its care. In this vast cosmic night, you are safe, you are connected, and you are home. Now let all the wonders we have imagined float lightly in your mind like distant constellations. Feel the gentle gravity of sleep drawing you in, as naturally as a planet orbits its star. There is no need to reach further or wander anymore for now. You have travelled far on the wings of words and thought. It is time to rest. Under the mantle of stars, with the universe whispering its soft lullaby of silence, you settle into tranquility. Your breathing slows, matching the timeless rhythm of the cosmos. And as you finally close your eyes, you carry with you the oldest comfort of all, that wherever you are, wherever you roam, there will always be a home among the stars waiting for you, shining softly in the night.